episode 14 of the Blake Chancey Podcast. I have a great friend. He's a client. He's a pilot. I've been trying to get him on the podcast for a little while. And I said that we could have a couple drinks and do it at night. I thought it was a good change of pace here. So excited to have Sanchit Sharma on today.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Me. Yeah,
cheers.
Cheers.
So what are we drinking?
What do we have? Airport Special. Johnny Walker Black Label, Triple Cask Edition.
So what does that even mean? What does triple cast mean?
Triple Cask Edition. You know what? I wish I knew. Doesn't say on here, but it was on sale. That's the best kind of whiskey you can get at the airport.
Yeah, beauty. It always seems like such a good deal, like at the duty-free places, get a nice bottle, and then not a huge drinker in the first place.
No.
So I'm like, what am I going to do with this stuff?
I did the same thing. I got into drinking scotch, and I'd buy a bottle. I'd be like, oh, that's a great deal. And then I'd find another one, be in England or whatever, and that's where it's cheapest, right? I'd see a bottle. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a great deal. I'd bring them home, and we got a liquor cabinet at home, and it's just a cheap plywood one. And it started like
sagging.
It's sagging, and wife's like, you know, you have to drink them if you're going to buy them. And I'm like, you're the only person who's ever had this problem.
Yeah.
That I've got too many bottles of scotch that I don't drink.
It's so nice to have on display, though.
Yeah, it is.
Like we have a little cabinet upstairs, and we reconfigured some stuff in the kitchen. We have a couple bottles on display that are on top of the buffet.
Right.
And then we have our other wine and some hard alcohol underneath. But it's just like, I don't know what it is. Like, even if you're not a big drinker, it's nice to see
it's the gold aura of it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks cool.
You get some lighting involved in there too, and it's popping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, I bought some experimental ones. We're at a resort in Cancun, and I just asked for, it was an all-inclusive. So I said, oh, I'll get a scotch. And I see him pouring the scotch, and it was a green bottle that said Passport Scotch.
Yeah.
I never heard of this. I Googled it, and it's Scottish. It is Scotch, but it's like cheap stuff. So I'm like, oh, I got to go into the supermarket. It's like $14 for one of these bottles.
Wow.
Right? I'm like, bring it home. I drank a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that tastes like it.
Like gasoline?
That's it. Yeah. I'm like, it's not bad, but I'm like, so that bottle's there just as a story, I guess. So
as the reserve to the reserve.
Yeah. Someone comes around I really don't like. Hey man, you want some scotch?
You want them to leave soon?
Yeah.
Here, try this.
Hey, try this out.
Yeah, this is the best I have, man. You gotta try. Just upsell it a ton, and then just like,
yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah, man, it's so cool to have you.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's fun. So, I mean, I just want to dive into your story of how you actually got to be a pilot. We were coincidentally on a flight back from Montreal together. I was there for a wedding. That's right. This past summer, and you're always flying, obviously.
I was there for work. Yep.
You were there for work, and we were on the same flight. You weren't the pilot, unfortunately.
No.
But you got to be a passenger, and actually you met somebody cool on the plane ride back.
I did.
With that.
Yeah. So I met, there was a flight back from Montreal last.
Put this a little closer.
A little closer.
You can totally move it around, up, down, left, and right. As long as you hear yourself and hear you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Was that last summer?
Yeah, July,
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sat down in my seat and noticed the person beside me. I'm like, oh, I think I know who that is. Yeah. And it was Canadian pop star. I don't know if I can say their name, but
yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canadian pop star from back in the day, and they've got a new album out and everything. And sat there. I was trying to be cool, trying not to fanboy, and a lot of because I'm technically working. They tell us you got to be low key, and there's rules and procedures, and so I'm sitting there and. They went by me, go to the bathroom, they come back and they're talking to the flight attendant, and they said, I'm so-and-so. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so end of the flight said hello, and I appreciate their music, and I used to listen to them way back in the day. And so that was a cool experience. You get to see cool people once in a while on the airplanes.
Yeah, that was fun. And they were actually doing like a show later
they were doing
that
a show.
day.
Yeah, they're coming back from a show or something.
They were in
like
Calgary or something doing a show there. So like they were actually pretty active.
Yeah.
And then they did another show, I think the same week with Felix Cartel. They were doing something together.
And there's I think they have a new album now, and so it was cool to see someone from the past that then you're seeing their journey again. So started following their music again, and it's a fun experience. Yeah. So that definitely happens a lot more in flying, that you get to run across and overlap with other people's stories like that.
Yeah. When you're flying and actually working.
Yeah.
Do you ever exit the cockpit and come out and like say hi to people, or no? Are you just like locked in there the entire time? That's rule number one.
Yeah, we come out if you need to go to the bathroom or whatever it is. We'll come out, but for any VIPs, any passengers, they just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seen some cool people on board, flown some really cool people, but cool to do. But they just, we treat them like any other passenger.
Yeah.
Leave them be.
You have to, right? Like anytime
yeah.
I see a celebrity, the last thing I want to do is go like up to them and fanboy out.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I remember we were just talking about Vegas upstairs before this. And I saw Nate Diaz in Vegas when I was there for a work conference and he was in his prime. I had to go up to him.
Yeah.
And he was a beauty. He dapped me up, brought it in. Then we
Right.
got a nice photo together with our fists out and he won the fight. It was that Saturday. I tried to change my flight back home because the Remax R4 conference back then was always Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
And I'm like, I got to stay.
Yeah.
There's tickets available.
Yeah.
Can I make this happen? And of course, I'm frugal.
Yeah.
So I booked a flight that you couldn't change.
Right.
Would have had to cancel it, stay a couple extra nights, and then try to rebook a flight back after that. I think that's Leo trying to get in. I'll let him in. I told you, man, the dog's got to be in here during the podcast and they just chill. Like Boomer might move around a couple times, but like that's it.
I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went up to Nate Diaz, but I think it was the right time and place. It wasn't like he was getting swarmed or really recognized by a lot of people because it was probably like 2010. I wanted maybe 2011 or 2012. But yeah, it was fun. He was such a good guy. We chatted for a couple minutes. Super good dude. But yeah, people just don't want to be interrupted. Like
Exactly.
if you're that famous, like I couldn't imagine just like walking down the street day to day and getting like stopped 20 times.
Yeah. And especially like, even if it's people with good intentions,
Yeah.
you know, oh, sorry to bug you. Cause I've been in that position where I've seen hockey players, movie stars, celebrities that I'm like, that'd be so cool to say hi to them. It's someone that I've looked up to or whatever. Right. And I'm like, imagine how annoying that would be if 20 people like me want to respectfully take 10 seconds of their time. Like, they want to live their life. They want to, you know,
it adds up.
Like,
I'm sure that they're happy to do it a couple times a day in the right situations.
Yeah.
But like as a celebrity, like imagine you're out for a meal with your family.
Yeah.
And some dude at another table is like, hey man, can I get a photo with you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, especially in like a public place. Like if they've had a few drinks and they're like a little slurring their words or just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. I was at a restaurant in LA and I forget what the restaurant's called. I was down there in December and they had on the menu, they had Al Michaels steak or something.
Oh shit.
It said Al Michaels steak. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Al Michaels.
Yeah.
You know, NFL commentator of many
famous
years.
broadcaster
Legend.
for what, like 30 years?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool. He's here. Or he comes here and he likes the steak or whatever it was, right? The dish. And the people I was there with, they're like, look 2 tables over.
No
It's
way.
Al Michaels.
Dude.
And I'm like, dude, that would be like, and my wife's like, who is that?
Yeah,
and
of
I'm
course.
like, this is the guy. I'm like, you know, Sunday night
Yeah.
as a kid, you watch This Is the Voice.
It's a voice.
And I look over, I'm like, it would be cool to say hi, but I'm like, dude's having dinner.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Saturday or Friday night, whatever. So yeah.
But that makes you a good person to not
take
go
that
and
for
bug
the
them all the
experience
time.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just being in the same vicinity as somebody is super cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes me think like I paid for the VIP tickets to go to Chris Williamson's show a few months ago.
Okay.
And so it was literally 10 VIPs got to like sit down and talk with just him for an hour.
Oh, wow.
And I took up a lot of that time. But like it's not like it was unnatural. Like that was the experience. You got a certain amount of time with him when you all got to ask questions and like that was so cool. But yeah, just interrupting celebrities in their day to day. Like Darcy Michael, another client of mine, he was on the podcast. Ladner legend.
Yeah.
His book's out. I was listening to the audio version of it last night on the drive out to see some friends.
Right.
And he gets stopped left, right, and center where he moved to on the island.
I feel like
which is wild.
He has that look and that personality where people are like, yeah, that's the guy I want to talk to. And he has that presence of like, he's approachable, right?
Super approachable.
And so people can sometimes misread that. And you're like, the guy's at the grocery store. Let him pick his groceries.
Yeah. Like he told me a story, like he was just going for a walk in like a forest near where he lives now on the island. And like just his alone time, his time to disconnect. He left his phone at home and just went for a walk with his dog.
Yeah.
And some person came up to him and they're like, oh my God, like I love you. Like you're the best, blah, blah, blah. And like he's such a genuinely nice, caring person.
Exactly.
It's hard for him to say no. It's just like, oh, can I like go for a walk with you? And he's like, oh, okay.
That's weird.
Like definitely doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to your intro into becoming a pilot. I want to go back to that story again. I would love to hear it again.
From the start, all by accident.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Just, We moved to Canada in 2001, so I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Moved here and went through elementary school and got to high school. And a friend's mom was talking to my mom, and she said, "Oh, have you guys heard about Air Cadets?" And my mom's like, "No," and she kind of described to her what it is. And I was really into drumming at the time.
Right.
And so my mom was like, "Do you want to go to Air Cadets?" And I was like, "I don't know what it is, and we'll go find out." We get there and there's big marching band, lots of drums. And, it's the Nick Cannon drumline era.
Yeah.
So as a drummer, you're like, this is cool, right?
Yeah, this is it.
And they're like, "Oh, if you want to join, here's the paperwork." And I was like, "Okay, when is the drumming thing?" They're like, "Well, that's on Thursday nights, but you got to be here Tuesdays as well." I'm like, "Can I just come on Thursdays?" They're like, "That's not how it works."
Yeah.
So go on Tuesdays and it's, show up there not knowing what to expect. And you do the standard Air Cadet stuff of, you learn how to be a good leader and a good follower, and you learn survival skills and all the things that come with the Air Cadet program.
Yeah.
And then make friends there. And one of them's like, "Yeah, you want to get your pilot's license?" And I'm like, can you ask that? Is that a thing? Like, is that how it starts? You can just get a pilot's license? Because coming from India, I'd never thought about being a pilot. I had family.
I don't think most people ever
don't.
consider like, "Oh, I'm going to fly these planes at one point in my life."
Yeah.
Unless maybe something you were around it. Maybe your parents knew somebody else who was a pilot.
Yeah. So my parents, my family's always been around the airport, but no one was ever a pilot. And talking to a lot of people in the past, they're like, "Yeah, you need to be good at math. You need to be good at science." Wasn't. So it's like, it's not for me. I'll never be a pilot.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a very quick, like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well," it was a friend of mine who convinced me, and he basically said, "Well, I'm going to sign you up for the scholarship."
Yeah.
And to do the scholarship, there's a bunch of different things. He's like, "I'm going to sign you up and you have to try it." And he didn't really give me a choice.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, all right, let's try it out." And so he signed me up, and basically the Air Cadet program, how it works, it's flying scholarships for the year that they set out. So to get the scholarship in your region, which would be, by your province or provinces, however it's laid out, you have to go write an exam, and then you have to go do an interview. Mm-hmm. And then they tabulate all the scores, and then whatever amount of people that year will get the scholarship.
And how old are you?
15 going 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started studying halfway through that year, and basically got the manual, started studying. I have no idea what it says. It's all gibberish.
Yeah.
And I go and I write the exam, and I think the passing mark was like 60 or 70%, and I got like 2% over passing mark.
Nice. Sounds like me with my real estate exam.
So it's C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
So I passed the exam, and then I was just annoyed because I'm like, man, like, this isn't my representation. Like, I don't know what this is, but I know I'm better than 62% out
For
of
sure.
it, right? So then I said, okay, well, can't do anything about it now. Did the exam. And then the interview process, it's really cool. You're 16 years old. You go in, you do an interview with 3 people across the table from you.
Yeah.
A couple of them are officers of Air Cadets, and then another one will be from the Air Cadet League, so basically the civilian side.
Okay.
So very it is a very military style interview that they do, and you have to go in, and your uniform needs to be top notch, boots need to be the shiniest they've been.
Yeah.
And basically they'll ask you questions about flying, about yourself, and then current events. And so it can be anything that's happened in the world that year.
Interesting.
Is basically
at 15, 16, I would have been screwed.
So
I'd be like, "Oh, the Lakers won last year."
Yeah, exactly. And that's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, Peyton Manning won, and then Brady won. But yeah, that's so anything's on the table. So for that part, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I botched the exam. I got to do better on this.
Yeah, you got to crush this.
I got to crush
Felt
this.
that pressure.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, and there's no pressure from anyone. No one really knows what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm like, but I know I can do better than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I did I go in, and the interview, I've always found that I'm more personable than academic.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to talk to someone and bond with someone, and, and be able to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so I go in, and you do this whole thing, and you got to salute at the door, and you got to request permission to come in. You got to request permission to sit down, and
so formal,
super formal. And
Yeah.
you sit down a specific way and everything like that. And you're like making eye contact when they ask you a question. And so I'm doing all that. And then through that, I'm like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm cracking jokes.
It's a new challenge.
It's a new challenge. And
You're cracking jokes?
I was cracking jokes.
Wow.
Because
That's impressive.
That's how I get out of it.
Yeah.
That's how I get out of anything in life. I'll just crack jokes.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, okay, well, I'm cracking jokes, and I get the response that I want, that I'm like, oh, they enjoyed that joke. Like, it doesn't have to be super serious.
Yeah.
Just
formal when it needs to be, and then be yourself
be
otherwise.
Formal and professional and respect their position.
Yeah.
But be normal, right?
Yeah.
And so we're having good conversation, and I was able to, I guess, convince them enough that that year I ended up getting the scholarship to get my glider license. So glider, it's airplane without an engine.
Yeah. And for that program, like, it was just a couple people out of the entire province that were selected for that, right?
There's like 20, 30 of us for that out of the province. Yeah. And so the way and it's been forever since I've been in the cadet program, but BC has its own with some of the territories, and then prairies have their own, and then Ontario, Quebec, and then the Maritimes.
Got it.
So they all have their own little small schools.
Yeah.
And so that's the one you go to. So for my year, there was probably 30 of us that got that glider scholarship. So then it was like, okay, well, shoot, now what do I do? So that, I get the phone call. Yeah, hey, you got the scholarship. I'm like, oh no, what does that mean, right?
You're like, I wanted to pass this, but I didn't really think about what's
next.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I was like, I didn't know what this means, and so I get this opportunity and started looking into it. I'm like, okay, well, I got 62 or 60 with a 4% on that entrance exam. Yeah. That's never going to happen again. I got to do better than that when I get to this school. So you get to the summer, it's a summer camp for 6 weeks. So, pack your bag. Mom got me a calling card because that's what you had at the time. Yeah. She's like, you don't get a cell phone. You're not smart enough for a cell phone. You get a calling card. I get go over to the Vancouver Island and started flying. And it was basically set up 6 days on. You study and fly Monday to Saturday. Yeah. Sunday's your off day.
Right.
And so you wake up 6 a.m. Very, I don't want to say boot camp. It's not. But it's very like regimented. Yeah. There's a schedule, and like you got to get this done, right? Yeah. And so you wake up, go for breakfast, you come back, get ready, and then you either fly all morning, have lunch, and then study all afternoon, or vice versa. And so then you'd be out on the gliding field for 4 hours, and you get a couple of flights in on that with your instructor, and you go up, and the first couple of flights, I was like, how am I here? Right. And then the one thing that really motivated me is seeing a lot of people who were there who really wanted to be there.
That was their thing.
And that was their thing. Yeah. And that really kind of put into perspective that, man, I tripped into this. Yeah. And so I got to do it justice.
For sure.
I'm not just going to be here and not appreciate the work that goes into it.
It sounded like you really had a drive early in you, though, to better yourself and prove yourself.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I wanted to prove myself to myself.
Yeah.
And did the first couple of flights and got the hang of it, and then started studying. And the schooling for pilots, it's ADD central, because you need to know a little bit of so much.
Yeah, I bet.
And so it was fun learning on the go of like, okay, you got to learn a little bit of meteorology. How's the weather going to impact you and your airplane? Air law, right? Now you're reading things that lawyers wrote. Yeah. And trying to decipher what that means.
It's the worst. That's all that the real estate
exactly.
exam is. It's so awful and dry.
Yeah. And so, air law, and then you go into, well, now there's a little bit of physics. How is the airplane working, or the glider in this case? And then you go into human physiology and biology. How are you working in the atmosphere? And, things like that. And so studied that and made some really good friends there, did the course, end of 6 weeks. I passed my flight test and got my license, and that was kind of, being 16 years old, it was kind of fork in the road. It was really pivotal, because up until that point, I'd always wanted to be a police officer. I was like, always.
That's right.
Growing up, I was like, I'm going to be a cop. I want to be a police officer. In India, I wanted to be a police officer. Came here. I was like, that's going to be my thing. Yeah. And started flying, and I was like, this is working out. So I was like,
I mean, on paper, it seems way more fun to be a pilot than a police officer.
Absolutely. And so even then I was like, okay, this is great. Keep that in the back pocket, keep learning this. Cause glider, it's part of flying, but it's an art. It's not something that's done commercially a lot. It's something that's done in general aviation, where you go out, you go gliding, and it really is, it's an art expression that guys and gals do it.
So explain the glider to me. Like, how big was this thing? And it was you and somebody else at the start, and then it probably maneuvered to just you by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So the gliders were, the ones we had were in the Air Cadet program, or they're called Schweitzers. Okay. And it's this, I guess German. And it's a glider is basically, it's an airplane without an engine. Yep. and it goes, it either gets towed behind an airplane into the air. So
Right.
you got a 300-foot rope
Yeah.
that the airplane takes off. 300 feet later, you're taking off, and you follow it all the way up, and
Yeah.
then you release the rope.
Yeah.
Or out in the prairies, I know they use there. It's called a winch, and it's literally a giant winch that just shoots the glider up.
Oh, really?
Never done it, never wanted to.
That's kind of sketchy. Yeah.
Sounded super sketchy.
Sounds
so
sketchy.
And so all the ones in the prairies that did the winch, you know, you talk to them, they're like, that's pretty cool. It's got a incredible acceleration rate.
For sure.
I'm like, good.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather go just
being
with that
like
airplane
catapulted
there.
out by
Just
something.
get slung into the air.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get up to your altitude, whatever it is, 2,000-3,000 feet, you disconnect, and now you're just soaring. And
Wow.
it's
You're
quiet.
literally just gliding.
You're gliding, you know, and it's quiet, it's peaceful, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of work, but you're like, it was a really cool introduction into flying, because you're one with everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I still remember, I talked to people about it, that I remember watching eagles soaring by me, and it's really cool when you're kind of in their airspace and you're like, you're
in their
guest.
environment,
yeah,
man.
you're a guest in their house, and
Yeah.
you know, being up there. And then the flights that we did were like 10-11 minutes, because you're not soaring for long.
Yeah. You don't have an engine. Yeah. You're just going off momentum.
Yeah,
right?
and like you can go gliding and be soaring for hours, based on the weather conditions around you
and altitude, I'm sure, your
yeah,
starting point.
Yeah, exactly. But for us, it was training. You're not learning to soar. You're just learning to do the maneuvering of the gliders, and then you come in and you land. And so did that, and yeah, loved it. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna keep trying this airplane thing, and I always said that to myself. I'm gonna keep doing this until someone tells me it's not for me.
Yeah.
And then that ended up just becoming my goal, and that ended up becoming my career. And so then, you know, I go back to school, turned 17, and I'm like, well, now I want to do my private pilot's license. So now it's a small airplanes, a small Cessnas. And
Like single engine.
single engine,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah. So same thing, do the exam, and now I know what to expect. So then I, you know, 90-something%, I'm like, okay, this is me. Like, I know this is what I'm capable of. So get the exam done, do well on it, go back to the interview process, and now I'm able to prove myself a little bit more, because I've done the previous one, and I've started to grow this passion for it that I didn't know I had.
Yeah, because you went into it kind of blind. You know, I think as a young person, no matter what gender you are, I think if you see some friend kind of having fun in something, you're like, well, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I might as well try this thing out. Like, my brother was into hockey before I was into hockey.
Right.
But then I saw him having so much fun playing street hockey with other older guys in our neighborhood. And then I'm like, well, I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Exactly.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, not a lot of air cadets get their wings, get their license. But the ones who did, you're like, man, you talk to them and you're like, this is actually really cool. And it's all a scholarship, you know, and that's the most incredible thing with it, was that it didn't cost anything. I studied, I proved myself, but it was the Air Cadet program that provided me the opportunity. Like, and I say that all the time now too, that people I talk to, that without that program, like, there's no way I would have done the flight training.
Yeah, you would have been doing something completely different.
I would have been probably failing as an accountant. It wouldn't have been pretty.
I want to go back. Like, I remember the first time I got my N driver's license.
Yeah.
And I could go out for that first drive by myself. And
Yeah.
the freedom that I felt in that moment was something that I don't know if I'll ever really experience
Right.
again. But when I go on a plane, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm more relaxed. I'm more excited for life, and just the feeling you're up in the air, and it just gives you such a great perspective on life. Like, I look down on everything and I'm like,
Yeah.
we're so not important.
It truly is. It, like, I right now I've got a reserve schedule. So basically you're on call. They tell you these are the days you're on call.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get called, sometimes you don't. You're basically the relief pitcher. Like, if the game's going well, you're staying on, and you know, you're keeping your arm cold. But weather's become an issue, or there's issues going on across the country, maintenance issues, they're calling the reserve guys. All right, warm up. It's your time to go.
Yeah.
I got called a couple days ago. It's been a couple weeks since I flew. And so get to work, take off. And it exactly is that. You know, you get to work and you're in a rhythm, you're doing your thing. And then you have that moment after takeoff. You get through 10, 12,000 feet, you get the belts off, and then it happens to me every single time. I'll look out and I go, man, yeah, like, this is pretty great.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's
and I get to
beautiful.
feel like that passenger self as
Yeah.
well. And then I'm like, I get to do this. This is an incredible way to spend my time.
Definitely.
And, you know,
is.
same thing. I'll look down and I get that feeling, you know, you read the news and things that are going on, whatever it is. And then you look at them like, we are so insignificant.
We are.
And then we make the biggest issues out of the, you know, the small things in life.
Yeah.
And it's helped to ground me, pun intended, in what, how much capacity mentally you should be giving to an issue in your life.
Yeah.
You know, there are issues that are big that take up that mental space, but then, you know, small things, even on the drive to work, someone cuts you off.
Yeah.
You get to work, you're like, man, that really meant nothing. Like, you're okay.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, you really just got to like let those weird interactions that aren't in your favor, that are kind of sketchy. Like Mel Robbins says, let them.
Let them.
Like I drive a lot
Yeah.
for my business. And like now where I'm at, I'm trying to focus on Ladner and Tsawwassen as much as I can, but I still have people that I do want to work for in other areas like Richmond, Langley, Vancouver,
Yeah.
whatever. And there's a lot of bad drivers out there.
Awful.
And like, you just can't let that affect your emotion and let it dictate your day. Cause a lot of people get stuck in 1 10-second part of their day.
Yes.
And it ruins the rest of your day.
Yep.
Like literally, like, I don't love Mel Robbins. I got to see her speak at Remax R4 in Vegas years ago. And I think she got a lot of great things, but I definitely do agree with her. Let them. You can't control them.
Yeah.
Just let them do their thing.
Yeah. And I suffer from that all the time. Like I don't get road rage, but I get very annoyed. Like, I mean, your followers know that you live in South Delta. We have to deal with that tunnel.
Yeah, we do.
We deal with that tunnel all the time. And that tunnel is the bane of my existence.
That's
And
the
we
worst.
chose to live here because we love the location. We love the town. But going to work, I was always like, okay, I know it's going to be one of my issues is this tunnel.
Yeah.
And I knew that. But even then, I get there and I get crawling on that 4 into 1. And then you come out the other side and there's 3 open lanes. And you're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, man, like, what are you going to do? You
There's
know,
nothing you can do.
I can be annoyed and then I can get to work and I can be annoyed and look annoyed. And now I'm ruining someone else's day because
For sure.
I shake their hand and they go, this guy looks pretty annoyed.
Yeah.
Right. Or I can just let it go.
You're passing on your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love this neighborhood so much. Like the demographic here, most of the people in this cul-de-sac and in this neighborhood, it's mostly older couples that have lived here for, you know, a generation or two.
Right.
And when we go out for a walk in the morning, it's good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you, Blake? What's going on,
Yeah.
Sheila? And like, I love that vibe because what we do and say in these small interactions can really affect somebody else for a longer period of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's some of the best advice I've gotten has been from strangers just walking by and you kind of, if you smile at someone and they smile back and you share a couple words, that means a lot more than, you know, just walking through it. And I see it all the time. And it is an industry, especially where you can get flustered and things go the other way. And you're always coping in aviation. You're always just trying to cope with the situation you're in,
For
whether
sure.
it's delays or, you know, whatever is going on.
Delays, weather, all
Yeah,
those things.
and
There's always variables
Always,
every single
tons.
day,
And
every
so
time you fly.
you'll see pilots and flight attendants, and when they look annoyed, like they're trying to compartmentalize. They're trying to get through it.
Yeah.
Right. So you see that at the airport and I'll see a guy and I'll go, yeah, man, that guy's not having a great day.
Yeah.
Or I know I've been in that position where I'm running through the terminal and I'm sweating, and end of the day, it's like that meant nothing.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're just do your job safely.
And we're so much better when we're not triggered.
Absolutely.
We're better in our relationships. We're better in our day-to-day. We're better at our jobs when we're not triggered like that. Like I'm my best self when I'm going to the gym every day. That's why I go. I just get my
Right.
body moving because I've seen myself when I haven't been able to, whether it's like an injury, concussion, things like
Yeah.
that. And I'm going throughout my day and like my stress levels are higher. I'm dealing with a whole bunch of issues. And a recent guest of mine actually kind of reframed problems for me and started telling me to consider them as puzzles. Everything's a puzzle.
Right.
No matter what in life, if it's good or bad and you have to come up with a solution, it's a puzzle,
Right.
which is just incredible for me. It gave me a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way that we can control our own emotions it changes the whole trajectory of our day. Like I am at my absolute best if I've gone to the gym, just move my body. I don't have to go kill myself. I'm not looking to go squat 1,000 pounds or bench
Right.
press 1,000,000 pounds, but I just know for whatever reason, my stress levels go down and then I'm better for myself.
Right.
I'm better around my dogs and
Yeah.
I'm better around Courtney and all my clients as well. Like,
Yeah.
cause most things can be very stressful in the moment, but don't let that carry out for the rest of your day and into other people's lives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally it's an art, I think it takes work, and I don't think I mean, if they've perfected it, great, tell me how.
Yeah.
But it definitely is something in the back of my mind always of the issues I have at home or at work, whatever it is. It's just let it happen.
It's part of the human existence.
Yeah,
right?
I
It's
guess
like
so.
Our problems are so much different than like if you go back 200 years ago, we're like struggling to find a piece of bread to eat.
Right.
We just have different problems.
Yeah.
now.
And I think today I feel like, I don't know if it's because we find there's so much more connectivity that more people connecting is good, but also it can be bad because a small problem becomes bigger.
Yeah.
Because 10 people face this very small paper cut. Well, now it's a massacre of paper, but it's not. It's just a paper cut. Right?
Yeah,
It's just like, it's a small problem, but you connected with someone, great.
Yeah.
Find out how they dealt with it.
And we see that topic over and over again. Like I was speaking with somebody else about two former presidents who were both running for election in like the 1910 or 1920, something like that. And they were creating propaganda against each other.
Okay.
And then, so it's printed in the newspaper once per week. One guy defames and does this slander in the newspaper 1 week. Then the other guy comes back and fights him the next week.
Right.
People are only seeing that once a week.
Yes.
Nowadays, we can see that problem on Instagram, TikTok, CNN, Fox News,
and
this,
it's
that, the next
headline.
thing. The same headline, same topic, same information, just different verbiage.
Yeah.
You can see it as many times as you possibly want. So that's just stirring up your brain with this thing. Focus, negative.
Exactly.
But the same thing can be with positive stuff.
Yeah.
Like my Instagram algorithm is pretty dialed in. I get like a lot of realtor content, obviously.
Right.
I get beautiful interior design stuff, and I get dogs and then comedy.
Okay.
And so like I've curated my algorithm that it's like usually just very, very positive. I don't want to see all the negative stuff.
Right.
And if people could utilize social media as a tool for positivity versus negativity, I think they'd be doing a lot better in their mental state.
But I do find, and I don't know if you've noticed, it's so much easier to even find negative content. I've seen, it could even be a video, someone posting, even their dogs. They post something and it's got a big caption. I'll pause the video. I'll read the caption. What's the story you're telling me? But that 8 seconds that I spent on that frame, Instagram or whatever, I'm on. Oh, you want to see more of that? I'm like, no, I'm trying to read. I just want to see what they're saying.
Yeah.
And just, I want to move on with my life. They're like, no, you definitely want more of this because you stopped and paused this video.
100%. They're going to feed you more and more and more.
I think it just feeds more into it.
Yeah.
And with the human psyche, wife and I were talking about this. It's so much easier to dwell on the negative.
It's so much easier for whatever reason to dwell on our problems and issues than try to focus on the positive. But if you can really try to reframe your brain and focus on the positive stuff, like it literally rewires your brain.
Yeah, it does.
Like, when you start thinking about good stuff, more and more good stuff you're going to naturally see. If you're in a really bad headspace and you start focusing on negative stuff, you're going to see all the
it's always going to be raining
in your life. Yeah, it's always going to be raining.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already always raining here anyways.
Yeah. Find the umbrella.
Yeah, find the umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
If it's always raining, find the umbrella.
Wise.
Wise beyond my years, man.
But I want to go back to that moment. Like, what was that feeling like for you the first time you're in one of these gliders? Getting because how long did you have to practice with somebody else before you got the first time on your own?
If I remember correctly, it's like 20 something flights that you do with an instructor.
Yeah.
And you start from day one. It's like they're teaching you 5 things. Day 2, it's 7 things.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 you did yesterday, now you just need to know them a little bit better.
Yeah.
The next 2, well, I'm just showing them to you. Tomorrow, we'll see if you can do it. So you're really building up all the way. And then you go with a senior instructor, a check pilot, they call them. And they're testing you to see, okay, how much have you learned?
Right.
And by the end of, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks into training, you're expected to basically do the whole thing. You're running the show.
Mm-hmm.
They're just watching to see if you can.
Right.
So they're not instructing, they're just observing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and I mean, with the Air Cadet program, the way it's laid out, it's very accelerated because you're doing this on their time,
mm-hmm.
and you're doing it through the summer. Really, like you're just ultra focused on getting this done. It's not a normal, majority of the pilots who get their license, it's while they're in school or they have another job or whatever's going on. So it's a lot slower process. So you're, that whole training can take a lot longer.
Yeah, you're hyper focused on that one thing for a short condensed time period.
And you get back to the barracks where you're staying, and you're surrounded by another 20, 25, 30 people who are like-minded. We're all getting our licenses together.
Yeah.
And you're just bouncing ideas off, right? Like, how was your flight? Oh, what'd you learn? And a lot of you're all doing the same training, but it can be very different results.
Absolutely. Right.
Right. So you're seeing someone else. What'd you do here? Oh man, I did this. What'd you do here? I did this. And you're like, oh, cool. Okay. So that's like, that opens your perspective of like, there can be several ways to solve that same puzzle, right? That you can do it with your left hand or your right hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so then you do that, you do, 20 whatever flights. And then by that point, they're basically observing, and they want to see if you can do it by yourself. And then you get that check off, and off you go. You're on your own. And the first glider flight, or the first powered flight that I did in the small Cessna, like I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And you're there, and it's funny, like the airplane feels like a Porsche, because here you were, 150, 180, whatever pounds you were as a 15-year-old, a little bit lighter, and you had a 200-pound guy beside you. Now that person's gone. So this airplane feels like a rocket ship, and it's really not, but you take off and you're like, oh, this thing's so much lighter.
It just feels different.
It just feels different. Yeah, because it's a small airplane, right?
Yeah.
Think of like a small dinghy with two people. Get the other person
100%.
out, and now you're ripping.
Yeah, you got an electric motor on the back. I'm fishing with my dad versus fishing by myself.
Exactly. That's what it is, right? So you take off, you're like, oh, this is insane. And then the emotion kind of settles. And it's funny, like a lot of it is you feel it afterwards, because you're just trained to do the thing you need to do.
Yeah. Your mind's still going. You're still
working
on your checklist.
Exactly.
You're still working.
Yeah. And so then you get that kind of dwell in the flight, and you go, I just did this.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember I had my headset, I had my microphone off, and I was belting out Fly Me to the Moon. I'm singing Frank Sinatra. Because I'm like, this is insane. I'm 17 years old, whatever. And I'm flying an airplane.
Yeah.
And then you come back down, and that's your first, like, that moment of freedom. Like, I was there
Total
flying
freedom.
by myself.
Yeah.
And then you continue on, do the rest of the training with the instructor, and now they're in and out of the airplane.
Did you have an itch for it after that? You're like, I can't wait to get back up there on
Absolutely.
my own.
Yeah. And get back up there and just experience it every single time. But then when the instructor's there, you're like, man, I'm learning so much more, and learning all these cool things too now. And they leave, and you're like, okay, I get to try it myself now.
Yeah. Right.
And practicing these things, and then did the course. And it's funny you're talking about, that first car ride. I failed my driver test.
Oh, really?
I had my pilot's license. I failed my driver test. I went to do my.
There's other people around me. What is this bullshit?
The L was easy, right? It's like 10 questions, multiple choice. I did that.
Yeah.
I got my L, and then I go for my N. I didn't put thought into the fact that there's rules of the road as well. I was like, oh, easy. Like, I can drive. But like the nitpicky things they look for, like how many times do you look at the rear view mirror?
Shoulder check,
the
rear
shoulder
view mirror,
check, exactly.
Every,
The
3
side
seconds
view,
to look at the
yeah, right. So I didn't know that stuff.
Yeah.
So I go do my road test, and they're like, yeah, you didn't pass. I'm like, so like literally, my parents they drove me to the airport so I could go flying. And that's an experience a lot of kids had who were in the air cadet program. You got driven to the airport, and then Transport Canada said, well, you can go fly yourself.
That's wild.
Like, I can't drive on the road, but I can go fly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. That was humble pie.
I bet it was. Yeah. You probably felt like an idiot.
Yeah. You're like, oh, nothing sticks.
Yeah.
I have my pilot's license at 17. You're like, you can't drive. Actually.
You can't drive a car. You can't drive yourself to work or whatever.
I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I wonder how much that like 6-week kind of summer course was a part of your trajectory in the rest of your life. Cause I feel like it's almost like an introduction. Like, I don't believe in college in the aspect of you have to go to college to learn certain things. Yeah. I think the world is in such a great spot where you can learn so much online. You can dive deep into exactly what you're interested in, but there's something about like the social aspect and being out of your nest,
yes,
out of your parents' home. You're 6 weeks in this super regimented like course with other people, completely new environment.
Yeah. I
think that must have been like a pivotal moment for you. Absolutely. And like perspective for life.
Yeah. And I came back after that summer course, they do the graduation parade. You get your wings pinned on, and it's super cool. My parents got to be there. Yeah. I was fortunate. I got a couple of awards that summer as well. So then I got to spend a week out east doing aerobatic gliding.
Oh, right. Yeah. You mentioned this before too.
I got to go to just north of Ottawa, and they put you up in this super sleek glider, and you go up and you're doing loops and rolls and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And the guy put on a parachute. He goes, yeah, here's a parachute. I go, for what? He's like, well, if you need to bail,
Yeah.
I'll get the canopy off, just jump out and pull this cord really hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And we do the whole aerobatic thing. And that night I'm in my hotel room laying in bed. And I'm like, geez, there was a chance I might have had to jump out of a plane today.
That's wild.
Like now I'm like compartmentalizing the day, right? And I'm like, okay, this was cool. This was cool. Oh my God, I was wearing a parachute. I never want to wear a parachute.
Yeah.
Right. So things like that. But yeah, going back to what you're talking about, I came back to high school after that and I thought, no, like, I think I'm going to keep trying this. And it's funny that you say that about college. Like, yeah, I did a 2-year program in college, and coming from South Asia background, from India, you got to go to university.
Have to.
Like, you failed if you didn't go to university.
You better be a doctor.
You better be a doctor or a lawyer. Right. And so, I come back to high school, and I appreciate the high school program in BC. And we had, what I think it was called planning class. It was planning.
Career and personal planning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Right. And I remember the people coming in, the teachers, the planner ladies, and they're like, yeah, here's the universities and this and that. And here I am, I've got my first pilot's license, and I'm sitting in this class. I'm like, well, what about someone who doesn't want to go to college?
Yeah.
And I still remember that who is this 16-year-old talking back about college? Right. I'm like, well, some of us don't. And they're like, well, that's not an alternative.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't want to go to university?
It's the path. It's a path that everybody's supposed to take.
It's the way. Exactly.
It's
right.
literally the way.
And even then, I know guys who left in grade 10 and went into trades and trade-focused schools that start in grade 10.
Yeah.
And by the time I finished grade 12, that guy's got a 2-year career.
Yeah, he's got so many hours already to his red seal.
Exactly. He's got a seal.
Ahead.
He's working, right?
Yeah.
He's making money and he's learning on the job.
Yeah.
And so I really took that away, that, I appreciate university and college programs, depending on what you're learning. But yeah, like that was a big thing for me, that maybe I don't need this. I ended up doing a 2-year college program. I got accepted into college. The year I got there, they changed into university. So then I got to cheat. I told my parents I'm actually at a university now.
Kwantlen?
No, I went in Calgary. I was in Mount Royal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was Mount Royal College, MRC. I got there, and I get there September, and they're like, rah, we're a university now. We got accredited.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm in a university. I made it.
Yeah, I made it.
It's a 2-year diploma program,
Yeah.
but it was aviation.
Nice.
And so for my parents, it was also like, you got to do a degree. Like, you break your leg, you can't fly, you need a degree to back you up, right?
Fair enough.
And I was like, all right. So the compromise we had was, okay, I'll do this 2-year business diploma that's focused on flying, and then I'll do the other 2 years and I'll go get a degree.
Yeah.
But let's do the 2-year program, because there's also 4-year programs. And to me, as someone who, this is a profession, well, why would I take 4 years to get into the profession when I can take 2?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I start in 2010 and you start in 2010 and you take the 4-year, I finish in 2012 with the same licenses.
Yep.
I got 2 years on you to go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 years later, you're looking for that same job that I've now filled, and in an industry that's super competitive. And
you're already building seniority.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
it moves the way it moves. It's the canary in the coal mine of the economy. Aviation always booms first and busts first.
Yeah.
Right? We saw that with COVID. We see that after COVID, where everyone either doesn't want to travel tomorrow or they want to start traveling yesterday. Like, planes got to go, or planes need to be shut down immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So timing is everything.
And I think that people don't know if they actually love something until they start actually getting into it. Like, you can go and get 4 years, kinesiology, whatever, and then you don't know about that. Like, you could be so good at school and love learning, just love to learn. And then you go into practice, and in kinesiology, being a physiotherapist, it's such a people job.
Yeah.
You have to be personable. You have to be genuinely interested in helping that other person versus just learning. Like, you have to practice, and it's so much different than just learning and taking exams. Like, you don't know if you actually like something until you're in it.
Yes. Yeah. You're actually learning, like, they call it OJT, right? On the job training.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn. Like, the textbooks can only teach you so much. And I'm thankful for the instructors that I had and the teachers that I had. I still keep in touch with my grade 5 teacher.
Really?
I keep in touch with my grade 8 French teacher.
That's so cool.
Because
I keep in touch with like one history teacher, kind of. He's just a great guy.
These were people who, they went beyond. They weren't just teachers. They were mentors, like in the actual sense, right? Like, that's the interesting thing. Like, growing up in India, teachers are looked at as basically a lesser version of a god. because the
Oh, really?
biggest thing you can pass on to the next generation is knowledge.
Yeah.
And so a teacher is like a god.
They're
And
like a
so,
life coach.
yeah,
and then,
there's
God
teachers
level.
are really celebrated
Yeah.
from where I'm from.
I mean, they should be everywhere.
And they should be, right?
They are God's
coming to
hands.
Canada and seeing people like talking back to a teacher, like, whoa.
And that was you at 16. I don't want to.
Well, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to college, right? So yeah, I mean, I got into it, but yeah, like seeing people talk back, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna get hit, and they're like, no, you don't get hit here. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty all right then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciated all of my teachers and everything they did for me and how much support they provided. But I'm also thankful that none of them made me think that I was going to be any lesser if I didn't go to university.
Right.
The teachers that I spoke to and I leaned on, and that goes back to my parents too, is that they could have very well put their foot down. And they're like, no, man, you're doing the 4-year program. And they said, all right, go do the college program and get your license and then do the 2 years. And then to this day, I haven't done it.
Yeah. I think it's a challenge as a parent being practical with your kids' dreams.
Yeah.
And then also wanting to believe in them to achieve whatever they want to believe.
Yeah. That's a balance that, hopefully we'll learn someday. I don't know how you learn that. I'm sure it's part of just growing up and being a parent.
Yeah.
But how do you motivate your kid to do the best, but then also go, the field that you're doing the best in, how do you stray them away if you don't think that's the answer, or how do you convince yourself that that's the answer?
Yeah.
And
like
with
to
flying,
be 1% of the 1% that gets to that job eventually.
Yeah. And that's with flying, you do the license, and then, you don't have to get your license to work. You can just get your license and go be a dentist and fly on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who use flying as their kind of their disconnect and getting away, and
their hobby.
It's their hobby.
I know a realtor out in Chilliwack. Her husband's a pilot, but I think he has some successful online business. But they literally get to fly in and out of their own property into their recreational property as well. I'm like, that's the coolest thing in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and
so cool.
So you can do that, but then the moment I said I'm going to do this as work, my parents were excited. Okay, that's cool because they've been around airplanes, but we haven't had a pilot in the family. But for them to go, that's cool. But for them to then go against everything they know. Yeah. And then also kind of dive into it with me and just let a 17-year-old take charge of his future. That's dangerous. It is. Like that takes a lot of courage. Yeah. And we joke about it all the time now too, that, it could have gone sideways. Like, I feel really badly for anyone in my position who finished their training in 2020, because the moment they finished, the industry shut down. Yeah, big time. And now you're 3 years, 4 years behind, and bills got to get paid, right? Yeah. And so people then they stray away from it, or they try and then it's just not working. Well, it's like coders right now. Yeah. Somebody that went to college or university, I don't know what programs are offered for coding, but like you've been working on this for the last 5 years of your life, putting literally every moment of your time into this. Yeah. And now AI is crushing it. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. And that's what we talk about that too, that automation's coming for our jobs. Yeah, of course. There's Airbus. I mean, you guys have always had autopilot, right? Yeah, but autopilot, it's like, it's bungees, it's bungee cords. Yeah. Is what it is. That's what we like to say, is that it's guardrails. That's what it is. Yeah. The autopilot it's a very basic function that can't exist without the human interface. Yeah. But now there's a push to try to get less people in the flight deck as well. So that's the new threat now, of they're trying to get less pilots. So, back when our parents were flying, or our grandparents were flying, there was 5-6 guys up there. What? There would be 2 pilots, a navigator, and, another guy. And okay, this is completely new to me. Yeah, I had no idea. I thought it was always like pilot, co-pilot, 2 people, that is it. Because that's what we're used to. So yeah, back in the day, you'd have the 2 pilots, you'd have the captain, the first officer, you'd have like a radio guy and nav guy. There was different positions that the different pilots were responsible for. And then when the economy hits, then they go, well, how can we make this cheaper? Right. Well, that guy can do his job and that guy can do his job. Yeah. And so they went from 4 to 2. And when did that happen? I couldn't tell you. That's 20 years, 40, 50 years ago. 50, yeah. Yeah. And so they said, okay, well, 2 pilots actually works. Yeah. And so then all the responsibility got put from 4 to 2. Now, granted, technology helped with that. A lot of that, the workload was minimized, automized, computerized. Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of modern day airliners, you're not flying per se, in the sense that you're up there pulling controls. You're managing the system. Yeah, absolutely. It's a giant computer. You're a manager. You're a manager. Yeah. And now there's a push. Well, hold on. Can we get 2 down to 1?
Oh man.
And so a lot of pilot groups
I don't like that idea.
and unions are fighting back because that seems to us as like it's an insane idea to have only one person. You're going middle of the night across the ocean and there's one pilot up there with automation.
Yeah.
Right. And
like, what if a health emergency happens to that pilot? Like, you never know. Like,
he gets a nosebleed and now the airplane's.
Yeah, you have a nosebleed, you get into turbulence, you never know what can happen. Like, you should always have a second person.
And it just, that's just the way the economy works, right? So
I mean, look at realtors these days. We're not pushing papers, we're on TikTok dancing to sell homes.
It's funny. I see the videos all the time. I'm like, this guy's having a rough year right now. There's one in I don't know, I think it's in Texas or something that I keep seeing, and he's just swearing about the house.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I'm like, the owner of the house allowed you to do this. Like, and then that's their shtick, right? And I'm like, that's great. But yeah, and I've seen that change too, where, a realtor to me, like growing up, I remember my parents' realtor was very much like your parents, right? It's like, the realtor. And that's your realtor, and like you buy places with them until someone dies, and then that's the end of that relationship.
Yeah.
And then with the digital age, how do you? It's video after video of everyone trying to stand out.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I'm like, well, I hope that sticks with someone, because that didn't stick with me, man. Like, like how we met was at a house, and I'm like, well, this realtor is at a house, cool. Like, I like that.
Yeah.
And I recognize the name, and then talking to and realizing, oh, okay, this is the same Chancey. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, this is someone with local knowledge. That's a huge thing to me. Whereas I can't imagine having to try to make yourself stand out in an ocean of just 7-second videos.
Yeah, it's a wild industry to be a part of these days. And like, some of the funniest videos I see now is like the more stuff that just other realtors see, where it's like, we're making fun of like, I got into real estate to sell homes, and then it's like a person just miserably doing a dance with like a voiceover, just like hating themselves.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, where did we first meet?
Ladner Point.
Ladner Point.
That was Ladner Point.
Was it like, was it the A building there that's on Ladner
It's
Trunk?
the one that's right on Ladner Trunk.
Yes.
Because Karen and I were just talking about this not too long ago. We hadn't even started looking. We were walking by, we saw an open house sign. And we're like, well, let's start getting a feel for the market. And this would have been 2019. And we're like, oh, let's start getting a feel for the market. And we walked in and we saw you were the selling agent.
Yeah.
And then it was the classic, are you working with anyone? No, we're going to Dairy Queen. Like, we just thought we'd stop.
Yeah, we thought we'd stop and check it out.
See
for
what
fun.
it's like. Yeah.
Yeah,
and like,
absolutely.
and see what our budget needs to be to afford an apartment. And then that's when we exchanged info. And I was like, okay, well, we just got a good enough sense that I didn't need to go hunting for real estate agents.
Yeah.
And really it's the name carries a lot. And that's like a lot of industries, right? Like, if there's someone that's been in the area generationally, like, it's tough to try to find someone to compete with that.
It's so interesting because open houses were the biggest pillar of my business earlier on in my career.
Okay.
But they were a way for me to meet other people,
right,
and also like sharpen up my people skills as well. Like,
right.
I'm representing that property. You're trying to do your best to market it and sell the home.
Yeah.
And that's how I got so many of my clients. I would do 4 open houses every single weekend for almost a decade. And it built so much business for me. But out of the 500 open houses that I did, like 2 sales came from it.
Right. And I remember you saying that when we sold our apartment, that we had the conversation of, is there a good time to do an open house? And I've always kind of been against open houses, but without any real understanding. I'm not in the industry. I have no idea, but it just kind of feels weird to me. Even though I'll go into an open house, I went to many when we were looking for a place.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it doesn't attract the right person.
It doesn't. It's your neighbor down the street. It's somebody walking to Dairy Queen.
What did they do with their shower? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. What did they do with their kitchen window?
Yeah.
And so and that kind of also reinforced that, is that I think it was really important to find someone who you don't have to fight against. I think a lot of it, maybe now, I don't know if it was like that before, is from people I've talked to, it's you're fighting against your own client or your own realtor to try to figure out what's best. And I think that's where it's either won or lost. Because if you're not on the same page, then you're not going to be able to make the place shine.
Yeah, you can't work with everybody either.
Right.
Like I remember when I was working at the glass shop before I was in real estate, the owner of the company said 3% of people that we meet, we just can't work with no matter what. No matter
Right.
if it's all good intentions or all bad intentions, we're just not going to vibe together. And I've learned that throughout my career. Like I've had a few clients where I was just like, at the end of the transaction, I'm like, this was painful for them and me, and we never just vibed like we should have.
Right.
The trust just kind of wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it was just issue after issue pushing against each other. We just weren't like-minded. So just in general, like that was one of the biggest business lessons I've ever learned. You just can't work with everybody and don't force it. And like now I'm at a good spot in my career where it's like, if I meet with somebody, like my rule of thumb is we can set up an online portal for new buyers that call me online.
Right.
We'll get them set up. We'll go out and see some properties one day.
Okay.
If we feel like we're the right fit to work together, we'll sign a buyer's agency exclusive agreement.
Right.
If for whatever reason the vibes are not good, we don't quite feel like it's a good fit, whether it's them or it's me, we tell each other and then it's best of luck to you.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against that person. Just like you feel a connection or you don't. And sometimes I've gone to those meetings and it's like, we saw 3 places. I don't feel like we're just on the same page.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have a better opportunity and a better experience if you just go and find somebody else.
And that, I think I don't know if it's a kind of a childish thing in us that we just want to be liked.
We do.
And we
100%.
always want to get along. And I don't really believe in horoscope or anything like that. Just saw something the other day and it, talked about whatever I am, that I need to be liked. And I was like, well, I do like to be liked.
Yeah. Who doesn't want
to be liked?
Yeah. 100%.
Right? But I totally agree that especially in a professional setting, you have to just understand that not everyone will like you or that you will like everyone. And to force that and try to make it work is just going to make it miserable for everyone.
It makes it harder.
And especially when there's 500,000, $1 million, $1.5 million on the line. Like these are massive purchases.
Yeah.
And it's a 30-year commitment potentially on a mortgage that you don't want to be forced into or feel like you're forcing someone into.
Yeah, you don't have any resentment as the buyer or the seller that you chose the wrong realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like a very easy thing to mitigate that we don't make easy for ourselves.
Yeah, and especially when like the real estate market's been so bad these last couple of years that like there's realtors out there that really need the paycheck.
Right.
And when you come across as somebody who needs the paycheck, it's just working against you.
Yeah.
Like most listings that I used to go into, I was competing against 3 to 5 of the other top realtors in Ladner and Tawasin.
Right.
And it's like you're selling yourself, you're trying to prove your value. But if you're a realtor that's, the 6th realtor and you haven't done much business in the last 3 to 6 months and you're coming off that you need the paycheck, you're not going to get the job.
Yeah.
Like there's no chance. They're going to feel that vibe. They're going to feel your desperation. Like another client I'm working with right now, they had somebody knock on their door and like pitch them. And they're like, we will do open houses for you Saturday and Sunday, 2 to 4 every single week until your home is sold. And so my client calls me. He's just like, that's the last thing I want. I'm like, why do I want to go out for like 4 hours every single weekend? I'm like, this is the opposite of what I want to happen when we're listing our house for sale.
Do you want to make it look like you don't live here at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, be gone for 4 hours? No, I live here.
Yeah.
I like to stay here until
I
sell
like
it.
to chill on my weekends and actually hang out and enjoy my space. Right. So, but like, there's no wrong way to do this business. And I appreciate every single realtor that's out there hustling, door knocking, because man, that's what I started in my early days in the career. And it is so hard. I would find every excuse to not. I would go and drive to the neighborhood that I would want to door knock.
Right.
And I would just keep the door closed.
Like,
I would go on my phone. Oh, it's raining. I'm like, nobody wants me to knock on the door when it's raining. I would text friends, hey, are you available? You want to go for lunch? They're in college or they're working and nobody responds to me. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to work. Door knocking now. But
I can't imagine, like, I talked to Kara about this too, of just how your industry is. It's just a weird, uncomfortable, intimate industry. Like you are just in someone's house.
Yeah.
And even when we were doing showings, right? I'm like, this is weird. Or like we're out, we got to be out for 2 hours because someone's in our place.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like my cats are there. Like, and it's just, you're forced to build that trust because you have no other choice. And I think that's where it kind of either works or it doesn't, where if you're forced to build that trust, it can happen easily and you don't feel forced. And you go, I know that person is looking out for my interest.
Yeah.
Or you feel weird giving them a key and going, well, the stranger just talked to another stranger who has 2 other strangers.
Yeah.
Who are going to be walking into my place.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no control over it. But just by design, like if you want to sell, you got to have someone come in and walk through your place.
You do. Without
There's
you there.
no other way around
with
it.
having no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What drawers are they going to open up?
Yeah.
What they're looking at. And that's why a big thing is depersonalizing before you list your home.
Yes.
It's like you don't need them, especially in small communities like this, because there's going to be some connection. They can see a picture on the wall. It's like, oh, that's at Wellington Point. Oh, that's where I went for a boat trip. Oh, do I know that person? I think they know Joe. I think Joe knows Sue. And they're blah, blah, blah.
It's almost become a game where when we were looking, I'd look at pictures and be like, I think that person works at the same company.
Yeah.
Or I'd see like, oh, I think I know where this
Well,
this
I remember
person
going
works.
into one specifically, like they were a former pilot.
Yeah.
It's like very clear to see.
Yeah, exactly. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy, and at that point, I'm like, I don't even want the house. I just want to have beers with them.
Yeah, I know. I want to meet this
I
person.
want to meet this
Can
person.
we just go hang
yeah,
out?
can you have them come back in?
And then your
I'd like
focus
to-
is gone.
Exactly.
Your focus is gone on the biggest purchase that you're going to ever make
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah. And you're distracted by things that don't need to be a distraction.
Yeah. So what is that for you working as a pilot and a co-pilot? Like it's a forced introduction. You're
Yeah.
forced into working with somebody that you might have never met before.
Yep.
And you're going to go fly a plane for, 3 to 10 hours, whatever your longest flight
For
is.
4 days.
Yeah.
So you get
Oh,
stuck
okay,
with
that's
the same
how it is,
person
right?
for 4 or 5 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's actually a TV show, The Rehearsal, and it's a funny show, and it's really weird and funny and quirky, but it really goes down to the basics of it. Like it really dives into it that, it really, you're forced into this relationship.
Yeah.
And you can dislike each other, but safety's on the line.
Absolutely.
So you have no choice. And that's the really cool thing about aviation is that it's always evolving. And they say that the rules of aviation are written in blood. And it's a very dark way to put things, but it
Yeah.
really from day one, you learn that and, and you go, yeah, man, like there's no joking around with how it works here. It's a proven system and to not follow it would be foolish.
Mhm.
And so basically we have what they call crew resource management. And that's the CRM. That's what kind of came early on when they'd look at accidents and they go, well, the guy who was right didn't speak up. Why didn't he speak up or she?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't speak up because they were in the inferior position. They were the
Okay.
first officer or the second officer.
Yeah.
And thou shalt not talk back to the captain.
Right.
Right? The captain is God. The captain knows all.
Yeah.
And the captain didn't know all. The captain was human.
Mhm.
And humans
For sure.
make mistakes a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's been interesting seeing that back in the 70s and 80s, you look at videos and transcripts of what happened. And you knew that the guy on the right, the first officer, knew that this wasn't going to end well.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do anything about it.
Because was it like an unwritten rule that they couldn't speak up?
It was written. It's the chain of command.
Okay.
And the chain of command has to be followed.
Yeah.
And, aviation got its roots from the military.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I kind of got that sense from how you went into your first course and went
Yeah,
from there. Yeah.
exactly.
Feels
And
very
so a lot of
military-like.
aviation now, the civilian side, you can go to a flight school that trains, you wear jeans and a t-shirt or shorts and, and you do your flight training. It's very casual, very, civilian, so to speak. But the roots of aviation came from the Navy
Yeah.
and from the military,
Lot of
flying the
structure.
old boat clippers and stuff like that. A lot of structure and the chain of command.
Yeah.
And they found early on that, not early enough, that's not how it works. Having one guy who just thinks he knows all isn't how you get this job done safely.
Mhm.
And I remember one of my first airline jobs. When you get to an airline, the first couple of weeks are in class. You do all the paperwork stuff. So you do all
All the fun stuff.
all the indoctrination stuff, like you do the reports or the paperwork for your insurance and stuff like that,
Yeah.
extended healthcare, and you do all the in-class stuff. And one of the first things that one of my previous airlines, they put up a list of all the first officers who had died in aviation accidents, and they said, "Look at these names. These are people who died because they didn't speak up."
Wow.
And that it's like it's all fun and games until you're like, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you're like, oh, we're having fun. I got my dream job. And they throw that at you. You're like, it really brings it down into a very serious tone that
takes you back.
It takes you back.
Steps.
Yeah. And so crew resource management basically came from that you all need to collaborate to get the job done safely. And ultimately the captain has a final say. But to challenge the captain isn't to challenge his authority. It's just to figure out if everything we're doing is safe.
Yeah, to challenge his thoughts, because like everybody has different experiences too. You might be able to think of a solution to a problem that captain might be just hyper focused on one solution, and then you have somebody else saying, no, this idea could work as well.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh, I never thought of that because I was just so focused on this one route.
And I've had that so many times.
Yeah.
You know, and in my position now as a captain, I've had the FO say, what about this? And I go, that is so much easier. Thank you.
That's incredible.
Know? Yeah. And it just end of the day, what did it do? It made our life easier to get the job we both wanted to get done.
And then it gives you more experience for the next problem in the future.
Yeah. And that's the thing is you accept very early on in aviation that you might not like the person beside you or vice versa.
Yeah.
But the job needs to be done. And so then you're given the tools of, well, here's how you can work, you know, proactively together to get the job done safely, because there really is no other alternative.
Yeah.
You can't try to fake your way through it.
No, definitely
when
not.
There's 200 people going on vacation or coming back from vacation, you know? So it was one of the coolest life lessons that I've been fortunate to learn early on, is how to work with others.
Yeah.
Whether you like them or not. And then it's easy. You work with someone in a professional setting and it's great. You don't have to like each other, but you get the job done safely. And that is the pinnacle. Like, that's awesome.
That's it.
You shake their hand and you go on your way.
Yeah.
Or you end up becoming really great friends. Some of my best friends now are people who I flew with or did flight training with.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. Like, how your relationships have grown with the people that you've been working with over the last
It's a
years.
weird industry and kind of place. Like, you're always, so the college I went to, especially, in the name of professionalism, all the aviation students had to wear shirt and tie.
Yeah.
All through school. And so you go into class and you're the only one at 7 p.m. lecture in the arts building wearing a shirt and tie. People thought you were the professor. There's so many times people thought I was a professor, and then I'd go sit down and open up my book and they'd be like, oh, okay, this guy's one of the aviation kids.
Yeah.
So it's a very small community.
Right.
And networking is massive. And networking before networking, like, you don't know you're networking.
Yeah.
But it's literally like, that guy is cool. And then 5 years later, when your boss goes, hey, we're hiring, can you think of anyone? Go, that's
the guy.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know, I remember I just finished college, and your first job is your hardest in aviation, because it's a huge catch-22. You need experience to work. You need work to experience, right?
Of course.
And so everyone wants you to be a all-star pilot, but no one wants to give you a job to fly an airplane to get the hours to do what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So I was at FedEx leaving, and FedEx is a massive job for pilots. If you know a pilot, they've probably worked at FedEx, not flying. Yeah. They probably worked at FedEx working the vans.
Oh, really?
Always.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Through
this
COVID,
is all new to me.
Through COVID, if a guy dropped off FedEx packages, that guy was a pilot.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just, so I'm at the airport and did an interview for FedEx, a ground job. I've just finished college. I'll take whatever job I can get. And I had a buddy call me, and I hadn't seen him in 2 years. And he goes, hey man, you looking for work? And I'm like, yeah. Am I ever? And he goes, call this other guy I know. And he had graduated a year before him. And so I called this guy, and he goes, yeah, so-and-so told me you're pretty good. Let me see what I can do.
Beautiful.
That was my first job.
You love that trust, man. That's same with the realtor world. Like, if I go and meet a realtor in a different location, and I can build some rapport with them, I feel comfortable. Then, like, if I have clients looking to relocate to that area, I'm calling them first.
Exactly. And that's,
and if my client trusts me, I trust them. The bond is there automatically.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 99% close rate.
Yep. And that's what, and we experienced that when we bought our place, is that not only are we seeing the place, we're also seeing who's selling it. Right. And that's just natural. You say to your realtor, do you know this guy or do you know this girl? Yeah, I know this person. And I remember when we bought our place, we said, I know this person. They're great. Yeah. And then I know, okay, things, if they work out, are going to be easier. If they don't work out, they're going to be easier. Yeah. You know, it's not going to be any sort of bad intentions or any sort of just butting heads that are going to cause something to happen, which is, it's huge, right? You're putting your trust in two people that you don't really know to discuss on your behalf.
For sure.
$1 million-something
Dude, it's
transaction.
such a weird thing. Like the other day, like I literally woke up in the middle of the night and my dream was that I wasn't a realtor. I was buying a home and trying to find a realtor and go through the process.
Right.
And it was so weird. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what all my clients go through, especially if you're a first time home buyer, you haven't ever done this before. Like I can't imagine what, like, and real estate's been so ingrained in me. My parents are realtors. My grandma's a realtor. It's always so familiar to me. So I never got to experience any type of weird awkwardness about buying or selling a home before. It's always just been such a part of my life.
Right. And for me on the other side, that's flying.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's funny. How long do I need to be at the airport? I'm like, dude, come on. Like, how do you not know this? And my wife, you know, my mother-in-law was just going to the airport the other day and she's flying down. And so she messages and what time do I need to be there? Or we're dropping her off. And to me, I'm like, we could leave 10 minutes before the flight. Like, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that's not how a normal person who's not in your industry functions.
For sure.
So it's the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah.
What are your favorite places to fly to? And what are your favorite places to travel to? Top three. Doesn't have to be a number one, but that's a question I've always wanted to ask you.
As cliche as it is, Japan.
Yeah.
For both.
Well, I figured, based on a few things.
Yeah. I absolutely love Japan. First time I went there was before I started working and did 2 weeks in Tokyo and loved it. And then when I started flying, got on an airplane that goes to Japan, went to Tokyo a bunch, Osaka a bunch, and then just kind of would branch out and go to little places from there. Really, there's no bad place, especially when you're working, because it's a paid day off in a beautiful part of the world. But yeah, Japan, just Osaka holds a nice place in my heart. It's a great city. Yeah. And it's so different from us. And, you know, got to take the wife there just for one layover to Tokyo. And so she kind of got to see a little bit of Tokyo and see what it's like and get the culture shock. Yeah. And that's a beautiful place.
Can you explain what the culture shock is? Like what the vibe is there? Like, because I've, the videographer, did you meet Devin?
Yes.
Yeah. So Devin, I think they booked their second or third time. They're going to go to Japan, I think next January.
Okay.
And everybody that I've talked to about Japan is like, you have to go.
You have to.
And like growing up, I'm like, none of my family's been really worldly travelers, anything like that. So it just wasn't something we talked about. We just talked about real estate. Let's face it, hyper localized Ladner to Wasson.
Right.
So it's so interesting to see like the passion, and I can feel it and see it when people talk about that place. Like, what is it?
I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, Japan, Tokyo is a great place to find out you're insignificant in the best way possible. You exist in this timeline and you can make what you want of it, but it doesn't have to be a burden, you know? So like I went year and a bit ago, went for just 4 or 5 days. I had days off and just decided to go. I had no plans because especially in the industry, you can't make plans because you're flying standby.
Yeah.
So you might not even go, right? So you get to the airport, pray to whatever God you pray to, and you get on the flight. So I get to Tokyo and I get my seat and I go, okay, I'm going. Find a hotel. And so figure out a place I want to stay in and start looking at the neighborhoods that I know of. And I want to stay in Ueno, one of the neighborhoods in Tokyo there. So I get there, get to the hotel, and I had no plan. And it's really the best place for that. Like you can exist, and that in itself is an experience. Yeah. And you know, Japan has its ups and downs, and I know a lot of people I've talked to who are from there. It's a tough place to be if you're from there.
Why is that?
The work culture is insane.
Okay.
And there's a lot of social norms and cultural norms that we don't have, that we wouldn't ever expect, that they abide by and they live by, and it's a different way of life. Yeah. So it's kind of it's easier as a tourist to go there and see the good because you're seeing the good. You're not living the 9 to 9 Monday to Saturday.
Is that what it's like? That's what
a lot of people is? Like when we lived. So when I went with my brother and my best friend, we went to Tokyo for 2 weeks. We stayed with a family. It was a family friend.
Got it.
And we barely saw the dad.
Wow.
And the mom would drop off the kids and then she'd commute for like an hour and a half to go to work and then come back hour and a half, pick up the kids, come home. Like it's a very, very, very hardworking society that works for the collective goals. right? And it's part of it is you want to do best for you, but also what's best for you in the community. And so like it's really cool to see. But going as a tourist, which you know, the burden is off of you.
You have no burden. You're on vacation. You're living
it's
free.
easier to kind of be able to ignore the societal norms because you're a tourist. But you know, I really pride myself in trying to do follow the cultural norms and not stick out, because that is an issue they're having now with over tourism, is that there's just too many people there. And
oh, really?
you know, even this year they in Mount Fuji area, I think they canceled their cherry blossom events.
Festival events.
Festival, because there's just too much over tourism. They can't handle it. And I know I'd been to Kyoto in 2016, I think, and parts of Kyoto I went to, very popular main strip parts, are now off limits to tourists because people just don't behave. You know, and that's the big part of travel. And like anywhere I go in the world, I pride myself in trying to not stand out.
Yeah.
If I can look like I'm just from there, I think I've done my job. And
like you want to go to any place in the world and really experience their culture in a non like aggressive way where you do stand out.
Yeah. Like doing the touristy things is great. And I say that to everyone that, you know, wherever you go, do the touristy thing. You know, I love Greece. Wife and I did the honeymoon there.
Yeah.
Santorini was awesome,
but
wouldn't go again.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's it's the tourism dilemma, right? I'm the tourist. How can I say there's too much tourism? I'm the problem. But really it is that we got to Santorini and it's packed. Absolutely packed. And I was like, Naxos was way better. And so next time we went, you know, for a friend's wedding, we told them we love Naxos. They went, they loved Naxos. They got married in Naxos. We went there, and it's like, we're just here and we're existing. Yeah. That to me is tourism or travel done right.
I think that's the problem with like social media as well. It's like, some friends of mine are in a spot in Mexico, Tulum. Tulum is like the influencer paradise. Everybody's got to go there.
They got an airport now.
That. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. And then like Devin and his fiance also went to Greece, and they're like, we went to the touristy spots, but when they talk to people that have lived there and really traveled the area, they're like, go to a million other beaches.
Yeah.
Because they're quiet, you're not interfering as much, and you get to really just relax more too.
Yes. And that's what I don't want to say this on a podcast. Naxos.
It's okay. Nobody's going to watch this.
Naxos. Absolutely.
Naxos.
Yeah. So we went Mykonos, Naxos, Santorini on our honeymoon. And then, and we loved Naxos, and it's the same beaches. It's the same water.
It's all the same, right? It's not like you're going to the East Coast, West Coast of Mexico, clear water, dark water.
Exactly. It's all the same water. It's the same beaches.
Yeah.
And way less people.
Yeah.
Way cheaper food and way better service, in the sense that the people working there in the tourism industries aren't just bagged. They're not overworked with crowds and crowds of people.
Yeah, they're more excited to see you. It's more genuine, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like, you know, wife and I went to Amsterdam, and we went in January because there was a good deal. And if you know pilots, we're cheap. We go in shoulder season, we find the deals, right? So I found a good deal to Amsterdam in January last year. And I said to her, I'm like, you want to go to Amsterdam? She goes, it's like 3 degrees and snow, sleet, like it's raining. And I'm like, seems like a good time to go, right?
Right. Perfect.
So yeah, let's go. So we go, and we're walking around in Amsterdam, and it's quieter than it would be in July. But we walk by like a sandwich place, and they had like a rope across one of the like little bridges that go over the canal, and there's people lined up. And like, what is this?
It's got to be the spot.
It's a TikTok spot, right?
Oh.
I'm like, bro, how good could the sandwich be?
Yeah.
And you know, there's a sandwich shop right beside it. And I bet you that sandwich is just as good.
Literally just as good. They're probably getting their meats from the exact same place.
And that guy probably off-branched it, and that restaurant's probably better.
That's what I was actually told in Montreal.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you got to go to this one chain for Montreal smoked meat.
Right.
But then I talked to a couple of locals, and they're like, no, you can just go to like any place.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be literally the same person sending all of their meat to the same place. And it's just a different
sandwich. It's easier. It was easier before. Like, I went to Philadelphia and had to go to Pat's and Gino's. You go to Pat's and Gino's because you're the tourist, right? Yeah. Do the tourist thing if you want.
Yeah.
And then go to the other spots, talk to the locals, and go to, you know, talk to the bus driver or the cab driver or whoever. Like, where would you go?
Yeah.
Go to that place. It's going to be way better.
Yeah.
And nothing against Pat and Gino's, great cheesesteaks. And it was easier back then because there wasn't as much social media influence on a lot of places. Yeah. And for me now, it really is a place that's featured on social media. I avoid.
Yeah, kind of stay away, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna find something else that's gonna be a little more low key and you can actually enjoy. Right? There's nothing more in life than I hate than waiting in a line.
Waiting in line.
Oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
just kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go to Japan, you'll be waiting in lines
Yeah.
for good though. And that's what you go, I went to a bunch of places. You go to a place at, opens at noon for lunch or 11 a.m. You get there at 10:45 and there's a lineup. But like, as terrible as it sounds, look at the lineup. Who's in the line? If it's the people from the neighboring offices, you're in the right lineup.
Absolutely.
If it's a bunch of people who look like you, you're in the wrong lineup.
For
that
sure.
food's going to suck.
Yeah.
So
I think of a trip that Courtney and I went on early in our relationship into Hawaii, and we went and did 4 different islands, like went to Big Island, and my favorite was Kauai.
Yeah.
Because it was just so much more localized
Right.
and a chill vibe, like small mom and pop shops. There's chickens running across the
Yeah.
road and like farm fields and everything like that. And I felt like you get to experience the culture a lot
Yes.
more than going to a high density tourist spot.
Yeah. Yeah. We did Hawaii a bunch of years ago, and did one of the kind of Big Island tours. And yeah, North Shore, like it's quieter and the beaches are just as nice. And like, I remember
All nice.
this was like one of our first trips together. And so then, we did this big, like, tour bus trip, and, it's like a big Sprinter van with 10 people or whatever. And the next day I was like, let's go back. We rented a car and we went back up to the other side. And yeah, the beaches are just as nice, if not nicer.
Yeah.
And there's no one around.
Exactly.
And the food is just as good, but it's hotter because there's no one, you're not fighting other tourists in line trying
Yeah.
to get this food.
Yeah, I remember
So-
the first beach we went to in Kauai. We rented an Airbnb. There was 6 or 7 of us, and it was our second spot. And we're just like, let's just go find a beach.
Yeah.
No itinerary, no nothing. We rented a couple vehicles and we went to a beach, and it was just us.
Yeah.
We had a speaker.
It's
we had some
eerie.
drinks. It was eerie, but it was so cool. Like
Yeah.
once we started like going in the water and enjoying it, it was an unbelievable experience. And like, I'm literally there right now. Like we're having such a good time. We're throwing a football. We're having a drink. We're laughing. And like, I didn't even know anybody.
Yeah.
I knew Courtney and her best friend at that time, but it's just such a vibe, and you get to know other people and just like feel the culture there. It's so much better
Yeah.
than just going to like the hot
Yes.
spot.
And
Sure, tick that off.
yes.
Go and do that. Go to Maui.
Yeah.
Like go to Maui. I love Maui. We went there for a basketball trip when I was in grade 11, and like I love that. Like it was so cool just even traveling outside of Canada for a sport.
Right.
And that was incredible. And like I would still like to go back there, but like I'm not gonna spend my entire trip in
Try to go.
Maui
Yeah.
or Honolulu.
Right.
Like we flew into Honolulu, stayed for a night, got to enjoy the city, went to a nice restaurant, and then got the heck out of
Yeah.
there.
Honolulu, last time we went, that's what we said. It's West Georgia Street.
Yeah,
It's just water on
literally.
one side.
Yeah,
It's just stores I can't be bothered to shop at
Yeah.
because they're way too expensive.
for sure.
And so we haven't been back to Hawaii in forever. But yeah, I say that to everyone too, that go do the tourist thing if you really want to. Go to Santorini, go to Oya, however it's pronounced, stand on that cliff. It's an incredible view.
Yeah.
But like you're fighting through a lot of people.
Hmm.
And, it's just as cool if you look from the other side towards those things that you want to see.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, I don't know, that's what I really liked about Japan every time I've gone is that there's just so many people. Like, you're fighting through crowds no matter what. But my first impression of it was really it's controlled chaos.
That's what I was gonna say. So that's what my understanding is about Japan. It's all this density, but it's so structured, and people
functions.
are super polite.
It works.
I'm just gonna let Leo out now because he wants to go. Yeah, keep talking about Japan.
He's out of here.
Doing circles? You done?
He's done.
Time's up.
Boomer's out.
Oh my god. Yeah, Boomer's in his
Down
his
for the
famous
count.
pose that I
Yeah.
always take photos of. I love him, man.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny when he's upside down chilling like that. Yeah, I think I have to go to Japan. Like my friends are trying to kind of get into the travel hacking kind of points and
Right.
manipulating them
Tough
to
to
like
do.
get good deals. It is
Yeah.
my other friend, Dr. Drew, and his wife Amber, they're like legit pros.
Okay.
But they're business owners, and when she wakes up, she's looking for deals.
Yeah.
When it's her lunch break, she's looking for deals. When work's done, she's looking
Yeah.
for deals. Before bed, she's looking for deals.
And you gotta look like a year out to find these deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's-
they've gone to almost, I think she's triple digit countries now. and he's like 89,
Yeah.
90 now. And like, I love them. They work so hard. They're like, okay, I'm going to be gone March. So if you want to book in the clinic with me, here's when I'm back. So they'll go and travel
Yeah.
and enjoy it. And then they come back and they work for like 20 to 30 days in a row.
Right.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And then they go and travel
And they're
again.
gone.
It's
Oh.
beautiful. Like right now I don't even know where the heck they are. I can't keep up. It's
Yeah.
impossible. But there's a big sardine run where they're at.
Okay.
You're trying to like think of where it is?
Sardinia, maybe. I don't know.
I have
the Mediterranean. Yeah.
I have no idea. But the footage that they're sharing on their Instagram and social media, I'm like, I can't imagine, because it's like thousands, a huge school of sardines, and they're swimming with them. And then they like, it's like the blackbirds around here when they come in big swarms. It's like a big dance.
Right.
And there's all fluid in motion, and it just looks like such a cool experience. And that's exactly what he said. And like for a guy that's traveled all across the globe to say like this is a very memorable experience, like it's like, oh man, I gotta go do that too.
Yeah. And that's what we had. And it's just funnily how it worked out. So we go to Amsterdam. I booked the flight for January last year. And you know, I looked up, okay, is it worth going to Amsterdam in January? And the couple of things that I read were the weather's the same no matter when you go. It might be a little bit warmer, but it's by the water. Like you're gonna get some rain. Yeah, sure, you'll get a lot more sunshine in July.
Yeah.
But I was like, but also the deal's better in January.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we're like, okay, let's go. And I started looking it up. And the Tulip Festival happens in January. Not a month you associate with flowers.
No, not at all.
With tulips, right?
Yeah.
Tulips a huge thing for the Netherlands and for Amsterdam.
I mean, it even is here.
It
in
is,
Abbotsford.
exactly.
Yeah.
We just, and it's starting to get tulip season now. So picked up some the other day, and it kind of reminded me of that. So we go in January, and before we go, I'm like looking up what happens in January in Amsterdam. So they have a tulip festival where in the center of Amsterdam at the square, they bring in 200,000 bulbs of tulips.
Oh my goodness.
And the locals get to come in and you pick a couple, and it's to symbolize the start of the year.
Nice.
And it's their new year.
That's cool.
And a new beginning and a refresh and, you know, a fresh start kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of stuff that if you don't go to the hot spot during the hottest time, that you get to see. So, you know, we're tourists there's tourists around us, but we're standing in line in the freezing cold with all the locals, and you all get a paper bag each, and you're allowed to pick up a couple bulbs of tulips.
Yeah.
And I got to experience that. And, you know, it was miserable standing in the rain, but I'm like, this is what I wanted to experience. This is what the locals are doing.
And it's something that you're never going to forget.
And I'll never forget that. And
Yeah.
I'll never get to do it again. And, you know, going to the tulip fields in July is chaotic no matter where you go, because it's a lot of people just wanting to get that perfect shot. Whereas in January, it's just people trying to stay warm and get their tulips, and, you know, and they get to take them home and they plant them and everything like that. And we took it back to the hotel. We put it in a vase and we left it there. And, you know, we're like, if this stays alive for the housekeep, great. But if not, then, you know, we got to experience it at least.
Yeah.
And so it's stuff like that. And, you know, I'm a big proponent of travel in a sense of living how the others are living.
Yeah,
and,
I think so
you know,
too.
it's just, I guess it's easy to say that maybe at times because I get to go to cool places all the time, which now being on another airplane, I don't do that a lot. I'm mostly domestic now.
Okay.
But, you know, going to places and just kind of existing, it's a luxury, I guess, that some of us get to have. But I think everyone should try traveling like that once if they can. Go back to a place you've been to, but don't plan anything. Just go there and just go. Just go exist.
Yeah.
Go and live, right? And that's what I did the last time I went to Tokyo. I said no plans, and I'll leave the hotel at 7 a.m. and then whatever street I turn down, I'm just gonna keep going and see where I get to. And, you know, at the time it might feel like you're not really doing much because you're not seeing the tall tower or the art museum or whatever you know is known in that city. But then just kind of having lunch in a normal spot with other locals and drinking with locals and, you know, listening to people and their stories and learning about people and going to places where I'm like, I'm in the fashion district and I go to this bar and I'm hanging out with this guy and he's serving me beers. Seems like a cool guy, owns the place. So now I'm like, you know, you're making these cool stories that go beyond just the picture of
the spot,
the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I would like to travel more.
Yeah. Are there any places that are like top of your list to go and travel?
Everywhere, man. Like,
Everywhere, yeah.
it's
I guess it's
I've been
always on your
fortunate.
mind, right? Like
Yeah,
that's like the thing with me in real estate. It's like I'm always coming up with a new idea and how I want to decorate my home or something.
right.
I get a little bit of inspiration from this house. I get a little inspiration from that house. And like
Yeah,
me and Courtney love interior design and architecture. So like, oh man, it's nonstop, but like it's such a passion. And like when we do things, like we love it so much. And then like I see for you as a pilot, like I couldn't imagine. It's like, oh,
and it
I
really
gotta go
it's
here
a
and there.
it's a great reminder again of how big the world is.
It's huge.
It's incredible you can go around it in a day, but when you get there and you realize, man, I'm one of 6.8 billion, whatever the population's at now.
Yeah.
Like it really, like, yeah, your problems are big, but they're not as big as you're making them out to be.
And somebody else has probably gone through the exact
And
same
there's someone
problem.
beside you
A
who's
million
having
other
this,
people
yeah,
have.
there's probably 50 people on this train that are having the same problem you're having or
Yeah.
have had that same problem.
Yeah.
And, and then experiencing that and then kind of letting go of what you think are big issues.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like I went to Sao Paulo a couple times for work and not a place I'd ever thought I'd go.
Yeah.
And it shows up on my schedule. I'm like, cool, I'm going to Sao Paulo, and get there. And we go to this bar, and it's like more of a younger college kind of part of town that we're in, college crowd. And there's a live band, and I'm watching these guys, and they're incredible, full live rock band. And they're singing songs in English. And I'm like, this is incredible. And then afterwards, it's like closing time. Everyone's leaving. I go up and I'm like, I just want to say you guys are awesome. The guy can't speak a lick of English. Like it's very limited English.
But he knows the songs.
But he knows the songs.
Yeah.
He's singing System of a Down, weirdly enough, like hard rock. He's singing Red Hot Chili Peppers and like, all these cool songs that, and I'm talking to him and we're getting by. But it's just like seeing how music transcends language.
Absolutely.
I mean,
The arts, man.
yeah, the
Something
arts.
about it.
And that kind of, I'm like, that's travel to me. Like, it's so cool that I'm able to experience that.
Yeah.
So
We can be so different
Yeah.
and so different culturally across the globe, but then things can still unite us.
still
as
connect
humans.
us. Yeah. Yeah. And in that kind of moment, it's like, you forget that, oh yeah, I have problems. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of really connect and talking to the lead guitarist of this band or the lead singer of the band, I'm talking to him and I'm telling him, you got to come up to Vancouver, man. And, telling him about he's heard of Vancouver. He wants to go to Vancouver. I'm telling him how Vancouver is and this and that. And just seeing how it totally, you forget that you are in a different part of the world
Mhm.
in that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool experiences like that. Like it's been awesome to be able to experience that via work.
Yeah.
And that, it comes with a lot of work, but the payoff is pretty sweet.
What are your biggest challenges right now in the airline industry as a pilot? Like, cause from the news that I get a lot of like 604 now on my Instagram feed. As you know,
Mhm.
I'm always on Instagram storing my day and talking about real
Right.
estate and other things. And I saw some airline is canceling a bunch of flights to certain locations. Like, are you guys seeing a big effect right now with the economy and how many
Huge.
flights are happening?
Yeah. And that's, it's really one of the main driving forces of the airlines is politics and geopolitics.
Absolutely.
When people have money, they want to go places. When they don't have money, groceries take, priority over vacations.
Yeah. Kind of need groceries to live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so politics and what's happening in the world it's always huge.
Yeah.
Lot of tourism affected with the US.
Yeah.
And that's not a surprise to anyone. That's
Mhm.
all the airlines are saying that there's less tourism going south.
Yeah.
And
we see that hyper localized
Yeah.
in Ladner and Tawasin with
yes,
Point Roberts.
With Point
Like,
Roberts.
Point Roberts is hurting.
Yeah.
Big time.
And we saw that over COVID, right? That Point Roberts, because of its location, it's in a weak spot that it's not connected to mainland US.
Well, it
And
doesn't make
so
any sense in the first place.
I
Who
mean,
drew the map?
I know, just right across 49.
Yeah, let's just go right across
and
49.
and they got to the islands and they were like, okay, we'll do this.
We'll
but
do
at Point
this,
Roberts,
and we'll take Hawaii
Yeah,
and Alaska
yeah,
and whatever
at Point
else.
Roberts, they could have done that. And, so you see that a lot with aviation. Like I said, it's the canary, right? It's always the first one to feel the effect of whatever the economy is doing.
Yeah.
But with the way things are right now, it is also cool that it allows for more opportunity. And
How
so
so?
I was just reading about it today where South America again is a lot of like it's big for tourism. And so now airlines are trying to get Canada to be a connecting point
Mm.
between Europe and Asia and South America.
Okay.
You know, you want to go to South America, you want to go Sao Paulo, Brazil, you want to go, you know, Chile, wherever. Well, come through here and we'll take you down.
Right.
And so I think it again, it shows you where it is all one. It's one, you know, one big group that we're in, even though we think we're in this subgroup and someone else is in that subgroup. So yeah, you see it, you find that, you know, during COVID, like I remember when, in March 2020, when it's like news is starting to make its way to North America of what's going on. I remember being on flights, like there's 10 people on my airplane.
Man.
And you're looking back, I remember getting to Halifax and, this was everyone's started voluntarily wearing masks because no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So people were wearing masks and there were nurses at the airport. And I was like, oh, I'm not used to this. And then the next night I was in New York and I get down to New York and we're driving to the hotel and it was like the airport is kind of quieter. And then you start driving and down the streets, you got the big construction signs and it's like state of emergency because the state of New York had declared state of emergency early on.
Yeah, they shut down
state of
pretty
emergency
quick.
in effect, and I'm like, this is like I Am Legend stuff.
Yeah,
right. It's like it's eerie, and so you feel that right away. And so that happened in March 2020, and right away I was like, probably not gonna have a job much longer. And then June, July, I get the layoff notice. Man. Because there's just no flying.
Literally no flying.
And then, and the managers call you and they say, sorry, you don't have a job anymore. We'll call you when we call you. We don't know when it'll be because really we don't know. Mm-hmm. And there were people forecasting BNN and stuff saying, it'll be X months or X years or Y years. And then all of a sudden we start getting our phones are ringing and we need you back now.
We need you back yesterday because money is cheap.
Exactly.
And things are flying again.
They got the vaccination. They figured this out. People are comfortable.
Yeah.
They want to get out. People have been saving their points.
Oh yeah.
People are saving their money.
Absolutely.
And now they want to go. And so then the last couple of years, it's been kind of a
bit of a boom.
Yeah. And then now with things going on, then it goes back into, well, this area of the world, people don't really want to go to. This area they really want to go to. Japan the last couple of years has been crazy. The yen was cheap. It was cheap to go to. Yeah. A lot of people going, right? And so now they're kind of facing the effects of that. A lot of parts of Europe are like that. I think Amsterdam was one of the places they've introduced a tax for tourists. Mm. And we went to Rome in April last year, and it was chaotic.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So it's people just kind of shifting where they want to go. Yeah. Like I know a lot of people that are just like, I'm not going to the States. I'm not doing this and that. And like, I'm not really in that same mentality. Like I'm going to go to Vegas in November for a conference. And like, I love Vegas. I love everything that it offers from food to entertainment. It's just a special place. But a lot of people they're so against going into anywhere in the United States right now.
Yeah.
So I guess you're just seeing a shift from people going to Palm Springs or wherever else, any other tourist places in the States, and then they're spending their money elsewhere.
They're focusing somewhere else.
So it hasn't been a huge shift in total travel, but just rather a redirection.
Yeah. So like some of the airlines in the last few days, you read the news, like it was a good year for them.
Yeah.
It just, if you look at it in one category, it wasn't good, but they pivoted to, and I hate using cliche terms, but they pivoted to somewhere else, right? And they found that other market.
Yeah.
And that is what globalization is that, okay, well, if this isn't working, this is. And, it's just about finding the sweet spots of where people want to go. And it also shows, again, going back to, I guess that's like the theme of this chat is of how insignificant we are in a good way, is that everyone thinks they're original and then go to that place you think you're going to. There's a bunch of you there. There's a lot of people 100%. Who are also just as original, right? And that's how it's just this like hive mind kind of, thought process of ending up at the same place as other people. Yeah. And so, it's travel will never die, no. I hope. But
how could it?
Yeah.
It might change. People might go back to more road trips, but I think like flying is such a fascinating thing. Like there's something about being in an airplane for me that I'm at my highest motivation too.
Yeah.
When I'm waiting to jump on a plane, I usually have a pen and paper or my iPad
Right.
and I'm writing a to-do list.
Right.
Whereas if it's a normal Monday or Tuesday, I'm like, I'm just working away. Like
Yeah.
I'm not being creative, not being like, oh, I could do this and that'll help with X, Y, and Z or this for my health or planning trips with the dogs or the things like there's something about hopping on a plane and letting go.
Yeah.
I am completely out of control.
And it's funny you say that because I see that a lot with a lot of people when I'm traveling in the back, people beside me. I'm traveling for work. I'm getting placed from A to B because they need me to work from here to there kind of thing. And the people I sit with, I'll see people that as soon as the door closes, we take off, their laptop comes out and they're working again. And I get where we're at now and people need to keep working and this and that and the other. And I go, man, like disconnect. When you land, just tell your boss there was no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Your boss will never know that there was no Wi-Fi or there was Wi-Fi on the airplane.
Yeah.
But people are just always, it's this mindset of just like, keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, the airplane is it's your safe space, man. Like
It is.
disconnect.
Yeah.
Even if you can for like 30 minutes. And I see people who are working and I get to talk to a lot of people and learn about their backgrounds or what they're doing. And I've sat with people who are like, oh, I'm working on a script for whatever show, or,
Yeah.
I just came from this conference and I'm doing this now, or I gotta do this presentation. Like use that 4-hour flight if you can as a quiet place.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like I always gain perspective and I always gain a ton of motivation. Like I'm a notorious napper. Like we'll get on the plane, you'll board, we'll take off and I'll nap.
Right.
That's the first thing I'll do. I'll always take a nap. And whenever I wake up, great. But it doesn't feel like work to me when I'm in that situation. It's just like even yesterday with family day.
Yeah.
Like I just got the new office space at the Northgate building in Tawasin. And that's always exciting. It's something new, something I get to go to or whatever. But if I'm having kind of a slowish day during a holiday or something like that, and I get to work because I just want to, like I do love my job.
Yeah.
And so me going to the office yesterday was, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not work to me. It's just like, it was a joy. And like, I was so
Right.
excited to be in there and just not working on a specific timeline, but then also saying like, it was so funny. I was thinking of some specific clients and I'm like, when's the next property going to pop up that we should go see? And
Right.
like no new listings are being posted on a holiday, but I'm like, I might just reach out to them and tell them I'm thinking about them. And I didn't. I'm like, because I'm going to go see my friends in a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start the conversation.
And then
Sure enough,
yeah.
I drive home. Courtney and I get together in a vehicle. And as I'm getting in, I get a text from them. And they're like, can we go see this property next week? And I'm like, this is so freaking weird. But then I was like, I'm logging off for the day, guys. I'm going to hang out with friends. I'm not going to work anymore. But it's so odd when I get on a plane. Like I am so happy to either dive into a good series, a documentary, and
Right.
watch that for hours and just think of nothing else,
Yeah.
or get laser focused into something that I'm passionate about.
Right. And that's one thing. And I've seen the other side where I'm literally, I've sat beside people who are like chewing their nails. And I'm like, it's got to get done. You got to pay the bills.
Yeah, of
but
course.
I'm like, I wish that people could see the airplane as just a place to disconnect.
Yeah.
And that it was a place to disconnect until a couple of years ago. There wasn't Wi-Fi on an airplane.
Yeah.
It was airplane mode and I'll text you when I land, right? And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been interesting from a passenger perspective, a passenger who has no aim, I'm just sitting there to get to my destination because I got something else to do.
Yeah.
To see people around me and the immediate, the work that needs to get done.
Gotta go.
Or you're at the gate and they're like, oh, the flight's been delayed. And now people are panicking because this meeting or that meeting. And like, use this to your advantage.
Yeah.
I wish people could do that. And I know I sit in a place of privilege to be able to say that it's easy for me to say because again, businesses need to be run and jobs got to get done, but
you can't do work while you're on the plane. Like you're not flying the plane at the time. You're completely disconnected.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it helps me that, I can read a book or again, watch some show or it's usually the same movie over and over again. Cause it's just whatever you put on, but seeing people going through the motions and working. And it's like, this is a red-eye flight on a Friday night, man. Like your boss won't know.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think it's like it could be the people that went to college because they thought that was the route, and then they get into the job and then they don't love it. Maybe like I truly hope that everybody gets to find a job that they actually like and enjoy. And like, sure, there's a ton of stresses in my job, and like it's very demanding. Like I will probably check my phone after we shut this down for the night, and I'm gonna have some messages that I will need to respond to in some sort of a timely manner.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I freaking love what I do.
Yeah.
Because like even I've talked about you and your wife on several podcast episodes, and it gives me goosebumps every time I talk about the house on 45th.
Yeah.
And how you guys were tired and burnt out of looking at so many properties.
That house sold.
It did sell.
I was very happy.
I know.
I saw the sold side and went, awesome. I'm happy for those sellers and whoever bought it. Because again, they found the place they like and they were able to sell it. Yeah.
But you guys were in a tough spot. We saw a lot of homes, nothing fit.
Yeah.
And we knew that. So we stayed in there because it was vacant. We had a long conversation, and like I could tell your energy was getting low. It was not, because getting into your next home is very exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting. It's all its potential. Right. And you guys were kind of burnt out, but then we finally found a place that could fit. It was a little out of budget, but somehow we made it work in the end.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful and fortunate that I love what I do. And it's so much more than just every realtor gets into the business. They're lying to you if they say otherwise. They get into it for the money.
Yeah.
And also for a lifestyle.
Right.
But the lifestyle doesn't happen.
No. And that's, I've seen that. I've always joked about that with people too, that real estate for some reason, and I've said this to you, it seems to be the generic career where people go, oh, this will work, without realizing that there's way more involved in it than they see. I guess flying is sort of like that, where people, they look at, again, social media, there's so many pilots posting these stories of where they are and how glamorous it is. And like, show the 15 years that it took to get there.
Absolutely. Show the grind, show the hustle.
Show the times where you didn't go to that party in high school or college.
Yep.
Show the time where, you were away from home and how many Christmases and birthdays and anniversaries you missed.
All the things you missed.
All the things you missed to show this one moment. But it's, that moment gets the likes or it gets the attention, right? And I've found that, I see that with real estate, with what you do. And there were times where Kara and I are sitting there on the couch at 9 p.m. and something gets our attention. And we literally went, let's bookmark it. I'm not going to message him right now because it just seems weird, right? Yeah. And I know that you would answer. And that to me is its own issue of like, no, it shouldn't be put on that person to answer. Like, just don't send that message right now.
It's also on us as realtors to set expectations.
Yeah.
So like I find with some clients, I've been too hypervigilant and responding immediately.
Right. And
then it's like, I don't have to respond to that right now. Yeah. Like I can have a breather.
Yeah.
But it's a very, like, I always go back to Gary Vaynerchuk and Remax in Las Vegas back in 2014. He's like, you have 3 minutes to respond to a new lead or else they're going to somebody else. And that's 2014. We're in 2026.
Yeah.
We probably have 17 seconds to respond before that person goes and tries to message somebody else.
They're sending 5 messages at once.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Copy and pasting into messages, emails, or trying to call. Like I had somebody power call me the other day and it ended up just being another realtor. And I'm like, you got to chill, dude. Like you have to chill. It was about booking a showing for like Sunday this week. And I'm like, why are you power calling me? I'm literally in a listing presentation right now.
Right.
But if you call me, I think 2 or 3 times, then it actually shows up.
Yeah.
Like I have working mode on my phone anytime I go into a listing appointment or if I'm on a podcast, anything like that. Whereas I only get notifications from like my family.
Right.
But this number that's not saved in my phone, if you call enough, then it actually starts to ring. And so I call the guy as soon as I leave and I'm like, you need to like rethink your priorities here, man. Like, why are you power calling me on a Monday morning at 9:30? Like, you got to chill.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what, we talked about too. And I think I said it to you when we started looking is I find the whole real estate market, the whole thing with real estate very interesting because of how many moving parts there are.
Yeah.
But also people think it's this like, I have something to sell. Someone has the money to buy it. And I said this to you that, the first negotiations I think that an agent does is with their client.
It is.
If you can't get your client grounded in reality, it's not going to work.
That's it.
And that's what Kara and I talked about, that like, okay, well, this is our budget. This is what we want. If Blake says it's not happening, he's the guy in the field. And if he says, well, it may be possible, okay, then we can go on this adventure together. Or if he's, oh yeah, that's attainable. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, I see that with negotiations and stuff like that, is that, there's so many, again, real estate agents on Instagram and everything. I'm like, well, I think a lot of people don't have that sense of reality, is that, everyone thinks their house is worth the most.
Always.
And to them it is intrinsically, but the bones aren't there.
Yeah.
That drywall is old, on
There's
the market.
Asbestos.
There's
poly B.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's poly B. Yeah. And it's not worth what you think it is. And that's that professional, that's their job. And on that side, that's the job of the agent to go, I know you want this, but the last guy you tried this with for the last 9 months on market, maybe that's a sign.
Man, it is so hard though with some people. And there's such a personal pride of ownership aspect to everybody's home.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1980s original or 10 years old, like it's very hard to communicate that to a seller that their home is not worth $1.5 million anymore.
And I don't envy you.
I'm so lucky though but I'm lucky because I'm experienced. Like this is my 16th year in real estate and I know the market so well because of that experience.
Right.
I can't imagine if I'm in the market, like I got in at a good time because it was a dog shit market. November 2011. Nothing was really moving. It was like average days on market was like 100 days at the time or something like that. So, but that was just the norm.
Right.
Houses were selling for $600K. They'd be listed for $600K for 4 months and then they'd sell for $590.
Right.
Like that was just the norm back then, but there was not a lot of transactions. So I was door knocking, I was doing the opens and everything like that. But like all the listing appointments I've taken in the last 24 months, I'm like, I finally felt like, no, I know what the market is and I have to have that upfront and honest conversation. Whereas a new realtor is probably just going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Like your condo, oh, it's worth $1 million, right? Yeah, absolutely. Let's sign it up. We'll get photos tomorrow. It's like, no, we have a process. Like if from the time that you bought your first property with me to your most recent sale of that condo, like my listing process has changed dramatically. Like there's the stager, there's the painting credit. We got to be clean. We have to, if you don't have it exactly how my stager wants your home before the photos, I'm canceling media day and that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it also, like for Kara and I, that was a report card. And it's the weirdest thing is that when the stager comes in and they look at your house and they give you, no, that looks fine. Don't worry about it. You're like,
thank goodness. Yeah, she likes it.
Yeah, she likes it.
She likes me.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like you've depersonalized, like you've taken the family pictures away and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, no, that lamp, you can get rid of that or have these blinds open, things like that. You're like, yeah, it's on you as the person trying to sell the house. The real estate agent, yes, that's your vehicle to selling this house. Yeah. That's the person who's going to do the gross paperwork that you have no idea to do. Yeah. But it's you, right? And on the other side, same thing. It's you trying to buy this house that I think it's the honesty. It's harder to come by because kind of the beauty of it, like with my industry too, is that it depends on when the person got in and you get to see that when they got in, the person who got into flying right before COVID versus the person who got in 3 years, like 2018 was like, boom. There was a lot of hiring and a lot of movement and things were crazy. And the things you were being promised in 2019 came to a crash in 2020.
Absolutely.
And then the guy who was 10 steps behind you in 2020, what they had to endure for 3 years to then get to 2023, 2024, right? I think it's easy to see and with the two, because again, if no one's flying, people aren't buying houses either. Yeah. And so you see that person who became an agent perhaps during the boom, who was used to just possibly being a physical presence,
throwing up a sign and having it sold in 7 days in multiple offers.
Yeah. And that's crazy to me that was even a time. And we're fortunate that we didn't have to experience that. I know friends and family who had to experience that and some of them regret it and they go, yeah, man, that wasn't my best decision. And some go, yeah, it worked out for me. Yeah. But to having experienced that, like, I think that it's the make or break. Yeah. And a lot of assumptions are made that people just think, oh, this is the way it is. And it's not, and then you don't want to get rooted back in reality of, no, that 30-year-old roof is 30 years old.
Yeah. I think it's hard in the time. Like if at the start of my career, like I wish it was just boom. I
Yeah.
wish sales were flying.
Yeah.
But like now looking back with the perspective, I'm so grateful
Yeah.
for the time that I went in because it was hard. And then 2016 hit and then things were really hot.
Right.
2017, the prices were going up.
Yeah.
2018, decent. 2019, I didn't do a deal for 3 months, I think. And then I bought a house and like I had everybody telling me like, how many properties you sold in the last 120 days? I'm like, I don't know, one. And they're like, so you're going to buy your next home right now.
Yeah.
And getting all this external input and like literally even my parents, and they'll probably listen to this. They told me not to buy this place down the street in Boundary Bay in 2019. And it was probably the best financial decision I've ever made in my life. But
Right.
it's like Warren Buffett says, it's like be fearful when other people are greedy and be greedy when other people are fearful. And then it's also like leveling up. You have to put yourself in situations that are difficult and hard. And I've always been someone that when my back's up against the wall, I'll work 10 times harder.
Yeah.
Whereas other people can, I guess, just kind of crumble. But yeah, back to like, in terms of like the airplane pilots that joined when things were good versus when they joined and then things got really bad. Same thing's happening right now with realtors. Everybody was watching Love It or List It or $1 Million Listing LA during the pandemic. We're all watching a ton of TV, consuming YouTube, all these things. And every single person's like, oh my goodness, it's so easy to make $1 million bucks. It's so glamorous to be a real estate agent. So we saw like agents in the greater Vancouver market go from like 12,000 to friggin' 16,000. It's back down to 14,500. And I guarantee you by the end of the year, there's probably going to be another 1,000 realtors wiped out.
Right.
And that's just greater Vancouver. That's not even the Fraser Valley or anywhere else in BC.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you could look at the metric of real estate agents joining as, is the industry doing well or not? I think like if you see, if you look at the BC real estate market and you go, we had 5,000 or, I guess 1,500 agents join this year, you go, yeah, I guess that's an indicator of how the economy is doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, and that's the thing that's always kind of entertained me about real estate, and especially as a consumer, as a customer, but also then knowing someone who's been doing it for so long, is that like, it almost, it makes it seem easier than it is. And it cheapens the industry. And we see that too a lot where, it's funny being on a podcast. That's something I've never done before, but there's so many influencers out there now, and they're doing the most, basic things, but it has to be with a camera in their face. Mm-hmm. You're like, that's not what we signed up for. That's not what our industry demands.
Yeah. That's not what we thought we were going to be doing.
Yeah. Like why, it's cheapening the product that we provide. A lot of us that, even the thought of something like a podcast where I'm like, it's people who have done it, talking about it is very different than just putting a mic in your face and just talking.
Yeah.
Like the pilots I want to hear from don't ever want to talk. Those aren't the guys who would get in front of a microphone and be talking about how great their experience has been, this and that. But it's the opposite. It's the student pilots are creating Instagram accounts and talking about, this about the industry, that about the industry. And you're like, my guy, you're in for a rude awakening when you get that first T4 and you go, oh, wow, that wasn't as much as I thought.
Yeah. It's not as glamorous. And I think that's what social media can do. It can you could have a great day doing like nothing. Like you could go and walk your dogs, grab a coffee, go to the gym, see some friends. And like, that's a good day.
Yeah.
See family, like talk to your loved ones. If you see somebody else doing that and they do like this is a vlog of my day and you see that like, that's the best life ever. It's like, you just did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
You did the same thing, but it took you 3 times longer.
Yeah.
Because you had to set up and you had your microphone and you had this and you had that. And it's just like, I don't know. It's been really interesting looking at real estate from that perspective as well. Like when we started looking and having our experience and, in the middle of trying to sell our place, we went on vacation and of course we left. And that next day you messaged saying, no one wants to see it.
Yeah,
we're like,
I know, right?
No, they can't.
Yeah.
We left a mess because we were packing at midnight.
Yeah.
And we want to have the place cleaned before, we want to clean it and have it show ready.
For sure.
And seeing that versus, again, scrolling through and seeing the similarities in the two professions and seeing people who are just on the cameras in front of the microphones. And you're like, but you just joined.
Yeah.
It is interesting to me to see that kind of difference in the two sides.
I think it's great for people to document. Like Alex Hormozy talks about this. He's like, I wish Bill Gates documented his journey. I wish Elon Musk documented his early days and how hard it is, how many hours he actually worked to get to where he is today. Cause then you could learn so much, right? And like, I think realtors should document that instead of just trying to be flashy and showing multi-million-dollar properties all the time.
The question I would pose is, would you watch it?
No.
That's the thing, right?
No,
then we wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
Because we would just want to get to the end.
Yeah.
Show me the fancy, show me the fancy house that you're selling and how glamorous it is being in the penthouse on the tallest building in the city. Like I watched one of those episodes of Love It or List It, or the real estate shows on Netflix. And I was genuinely excited. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun show to watch. And they're like, oh, this is a listing and this family's interested. It's 180 million. But then it's like office drama. I'm like, I don't care about office drama.
100%.
Show me the showing. Show me the listing.
Yeah. Courtney hates me because I rewind so I can really see the property.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, right? But seeing, and that's the part to me that I'm like, my journey is perfect by my standards because I lived it.
Yeah.
And my friend's journey is perfect to them. And to me, my friend's journey, if they're ahead of me or behind me, is perfect. It's their experience. But we don't really want to watch that because that's the boring stuff.
It is.
But that's where I'm like, that's the meat and potatoes. That's where your future was formed.
It's like Rocky's journey. Like you look at him hustling and grinding and doing all these things, and it's a 30-second segment, but it's like years of hard work to finally get to that end result.
And unfortunately, it's just the way it is that we don't care to look at that, to see that, because it's considered boring.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if I'm literally just filming me every day, like looking up listings?
Just filling up your car because you're going to Langley again.
Yeah, literally. Like Langley was my career when I first started, because you could buy a house in Langley for $300K, or you could buy the same property in Ladner to Wasson for $500K.
Right.
My gas bill was like, I remember one year, the start of the year is January. I did 7 transactions in a year, and I was like the top agent in Langley based on all the sales that had happened. And I look at my gas bill with my accountant, and I was spending $800 a month on gas every month from January to March. And I'm like, this is absolutely absurd. Like, what if I just documented my like gas bill?
Yeah. That's honestly, and that's the stuff where I'm like, and that's with any profession, my first, one of my first jobs, flying, I did it for a year, and end of that year, it ended up costing me more than I got paid.
Oh, really?
Because I had to drive up to Northern Alberta. I was driving to places.
This is new to me. You've never told me about this.
So I was, because I was living in Alberta in a big city.
Yep.
Kara just moved out. And then of course the life of a pilot is change is the only constant.
Absolutely.
And so I got another job, and you got to take the job if you want advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Take the job. I go up, and it's a 10, 12-hour drive. And I could have lived up there, but Kara just moved in with me. So I was like, okay, I'll do the job and I'll come back.
Yeah.
It was a couple weeks on, 1 week off. So I'd do a 12-hour drive every week.
Jeez.
To get back to her and have my week off with her.
Yeah.
And end of the year, just the way things were at that time, the money I was making, I ended up having my cost of living up there and the drive ended up being more than I'd made that year.
Yeah.
So I left that job with more debt than I had when I got it.
Man, that's wild.
It's
you got to make the investment though.
You got to make the investment.
If you didn't do that, you wouldn't be where you're at today. It's like, I'm listening to Darcy's book right now, and he talks about how he got signed for a contract for a bunch of gigs across Canada, and he was getting $100 a night.
Yeah.
And he's driving from place to place, and then you're paying for a hotel.
Yes.
And then
I've seen that with other comedians.
Yeah.
$20-$50 for the show.
Yeah.
You're like, well, the hotel upstairs was $100. It cost me double than what I'm being paid to even be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing, is that I think because that's not documented, or we don't care to recognize that we don't realize as someone coming into it that, oh wait, there's this part to it. It's very easy to be a real estate agent 15 years down the road when everything's paid off and you've got it settled.
Yeah.
But it probably isn't that easy to get there. It's very easy to be in a position, that you glamorize.
Yeah.
But we just don't care to watch or document the part that took to get there.
The boring
is the
most important.
and that's where we live. Right.
Yeah.
And but we just don't admit to ourselves that boring is good.
Yeah, like I'm not like I didn't film anything of me at the office today, and like I showed up at 8:30, and then I left at like 1 o'clock to come home, and I wanted to film some more long form YouTube content because I've been off that for the last 10 days. I've just been busy with transactions and new listings and things like that. And like I couldn't have documented any of
Honestly,
my day. It would have been so boring. It's like, hey, I'm looking up listings. I'm setting up some clients for some new search criteria. Like nobody cares. Oh, I'm talking to my brokerage about how I need to send in these 3 forms that are talking about disclosure, even though I've already sent a new disclosure to the clients. And it's just like
it's a bit of a like moment of epiphany here for you and any of your real estate friends who are going to listen to this, watch this. Document your failures.
Yeah.
Document the sales that didn't go through.
Yeah.
Because that's what a real estate agent's account always is sold, right?
Yeah.
Show me the ones that failed.
That's true.
And that then shows the reality of, man, it took 12 fails to get the one sold.
Yeah.
Right? It took 7 rounds of negotiations to get the price to a point where both parties agreed. Yep. And then it still failed because the inspection didn't pass or, whatever else happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's where the reality sits, but we're focused on the glamour.
That's interesting you bring that up because I thought about that. And like, that's what I thought an offer that I was working on last week was going to come to.
Yeah.
It was 3/4 days of negotiations and it was at a brick wall.
Right.
And then somehow we brought it together. And I shared that story. I was like, it's been literally 72 hours of nonstop between me talking to my client, me talking to the realtor, him talking to his clients, and it just wasn't going anywhere. But like, my goodness, the amount of hours, texts, phone calls, everything like that. And it can very easily go to nothing and you're not getting that time back.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
I need to show more of that. And a couple of years ago, like during the pandemic, I was pretty good at talking about that because there was no listings.
Right.
Inventory was like 10 to 20 homes on the market in Tawasin or 10 in Ladner. And now inventory levels are like 160 for detached homes.
Right.
So there was nothing on the market and there was so much demand. So like the chances of you writing your first offer on something, like 99% chance you're going to lose out because you're not willing to go above list price and you're not experienced enough to know what's going on in the market.
Right.
So I was good at documenting that. It even came up in a story this week. It was just like, spent 10 hours with clients. We saw a property. We talked about it. I met with them in person. We're wearing masks. We're wearing gloves. We're in vehicles in a parking lot talking to each other from 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And we lost.
Yeah.
And then another one came up. Another 10 hours. We lost.
Yeah.
We lost. And then we finally won.
Yeah.
So I was better about documenting the failures at that point, but like I should document some more. Like even this year, like a client literally fired me one day. He sent me a text saying that his family had influenced him, that they need to change realtors. I'm like, it's not me, it's price and the market.
Yeah.
And then, so I was able to, luckily with my experience, I'm like, I got to step out of the situation.
Yeah.
Don't react.
Yeah.
So I gained all the knowledge that I could and try to like really condense it into a simple point form and talk about where the market's at.
Right.
I sent him a message. He's like, this is incredible. Thank you so much. We're going to keep working with you. But even it's like, it's mind blowing because I had done a weekly market update for them too, but I guess it's almost overwhelming some of the market updates that I was doing for some clients at the time.
Okay.
And I actually got some feedback from a good client of mine, Bob. I was like, are you reading these emails that I send you? He's like, we haven't looked at a single one. And he was in the market for like 5 months.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm spending a lot of time like going into detail about the markets. They were priced correctly.
Yeah.
And they just weren't selling. They weren't getting showings. Nothing was happening. We'd hold an open randomly. We'd get 40 groups.
Nothing.
No feedback. Nothing. And then so he finally said to me, he's like, we're not reading that. It's just too much info. It's too dry. It's like reading legalese in your real estate contract, or the stuff that you had to go through. And I learned so much about that. It's really like simplifying stuff. Like Alex Hormozy talks about this too. Like he'll come up with a script for a video he's going to form, and then he puts it into ChatGPT and he says, make this so a person in grade 4 can understand it.
Explain it like I'm 5.
Explain it like I'm 5.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to understand. And I think that's kind of been lost a lot over the last 10 years is one of my pet peeves is when people say, oh, I researched it. You didn't research anything.
Yeah.
You read. To research is a form of someone's profession or
Yeah.
someone's academia. They researched it. They had a hypothesis.
Yeah.
And then they challenged their hypothesis.
With variables.
And
Yeah.
they found, things that worked, things that didn't work. They came to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Whether it agreed with their hypothesis or not, they came to a conclusion. They researched.
Yeah.
I researched the market. Or, we see it in aviation all the time. Something bad happens, and then all of the experts are on social media. This happened. Oh, I'm an expert. I know this happened. You didn't research it.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept that you don't know this field. This isn't your field. There's nothing wrong with that. You have your field. And, if I need home insurance, I'm not the expert. I didn't research anything. I read pamphlets.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to an expert.
Yeah.
And I'll go, this is the situation. This is what I need. What's the deal?
Yeah.
If I'm buying a house, I'm not the expert. I didn't research the market. I read about some numbers.
You're looking at some stats.
You're looking at stats.
And stats are so skewed. Like that's the biggest problem with me and my long form content on YouTube right now is like, I can show all the stats and graphs, but like, let's talk about average days on market.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we did this with your place or not. I think we did when we did a price reduction. We terminated your listing.
That's right.
And relisted it.
Yeah.
At a new price.
Yep.
As a new listing.
That's right.
Completely skews all the data.
Yeah. And that's what technology for it's good and bad. That's what I like about some of the new things. There's websites now that track how long it's actually been on the market.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we were using. I'm looking at places, and before I even reach out to you, I go, how long has it actually been on?
Mm-hmm.
7 listings.
Yeah.
All new, but it's actually been on for 9-10 months.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. So,
it's not a new listing.
It's
anymore.
not a new listing.
I know, it's tough.
At no point was it a new listing.
Yeah.
So that, the whole, the research thing and not trusting the experts in the field. I think that's what kind of, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
It's working against you, and you can walk away thinking you're smart because you researched it, but you didn't achieve the goal.
You have one data set.
Yeah.
They're looking at, and you're just putting all your marbles into that.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that your hardship within your own industry is why you're so successful today? Like, do you really, I think from the people that I listen to, that I take a lot of influence and like aspiration to be more like them, like the people that I look up to, they're super successful in their fields because of how hard it was at a certain point. Like, did you experience that?
I think so. Well, yes and no. Like I talk about this with a lot of guys where I got my license. I started flying commercially as a job at an airline. And then I worked with a lot of guys who, the beauty of flying is you're with a different person every day and in a different set in their life, right? And you could be working with a person who is 3 days from retirement, or you could be working with someone who's brand new, right? A different day, different person, and something different that you learn. And with that too, like, you learn a lot about different people and their backgrounds and everything. And I've always maintained this, that everything is cyclic, right? It's all going to be in some sort of a cycle. You zoom out far enough, the market will be whatever market it is, real estate, whatever it is. It's going to follow some sort of a pattern.
Fashion, home trends.
There's no randomness in humanity, right? We always follow some pattern.
Yeah.
And so with flying, I got in at a point where, to me, I was like, this sucks. And I had some hardships. I had to move away, which is it's a constant that to get your first job, you got to move away. You're not going to, if you're from a major city, if you're from Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, you're not living there for your first job. There's no way. You got to move out somewhere else. You got to move to a town, right? And so getting your first, second job, whatever, I thought what I had were some hardships for sure. And then I talked to people who got their license on September 10th, 2001, and the day after their industry was gone.
Blown up.
Literally worked with guys.
I don't mean to be insensitive there. That's the wrong word.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that they thought, okay, I got my license.
Made it.
I've made it. I'll get to the airlines. And the next day, the world changed forever, right? I worked with guys who in 2008 got their license, and then the market crashed.
Yeah.
And I've learned from their hardships. And then in that too, I've learned of guys who had what someone would say would be a relatively easier path of like, yeah, man, I started flying or training in 2016. I was done in 2018. I got my first flying job right away because the airlines were hiring or whatever company was hiring. and I look at that hardship that I had, and I'm like, well, that was my story. But to look at it collectively, to go back to what you're asking, is that I always want the guy after me to have had an easier journey.
Mm.
I know people who died doing the job I do.
Yeah.
I know people, I had an old instructor who died doing the job.
Man.
I knew someone back when I was 16 who died at 17 years old flying, right? And I don't want that on anyone. And I say that I've said that to people in the past that, you know, I was my second job or something like that, and I heard about a couple of people who had died in a previous place I was at.
Yeah.
And the one thing that stuck out in my head was I remember the parking lot. And I remember, and it's weird to think about it this way, that their cars are going to need to get towed to their parents' house now.
Oh, man.
And when you think of it that way, and I go,
That's
you know,
heavy.
when people say, man, I had it way harder, I go, great. I'm glad you had it harder and the guy today doesn't. That's what we should be striving for.
Yeah.
That's what the next generation should be doing. It should be easier for them.
Yeah.
You did the hard work. You know, we can't say we stand on the shoulders of giants if then we want others to think of us as giants.
Right.
Right? Like we stood on the shoulders of giants to build to today where the guy ahead of us can go, man, I didn't have to lose anyone to get to the place you're at.
For sure. Yeah. And I guess it's such a different situation for you. Like you're literally life and death.
It is.
Yeah.
It can
like,
be.
Like for me, part of me wishes that some realtors had it a little bit hard. And that's just because I'm looking at the overall picture, because I feel like the realtors that got in when it was a gravy train, put a sign in the ground and be able to sell a house in 7 days during the pandemic. It was too easy. And there were mistakes.
Everyone needs humble pies.
And they didn't get to learn. So like, I find that a lot of realtors really struggle with finances.
Right.
So like, I think that they need to go through some sort of a hardship because it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my times where it's not being easy. The bills rack up and your back's against the wall. But like, luckily for whatever reason, I just work extra hard at those times.
Yeah.
But I think realtors that got in during the pandemic that made a bunch of money and just blew up their expenses. They got the new vehicle. They purchased their next property. They made 5 investments on pre-sales. And now they're being served that humble pie. Like, I don't love that they're in it, but the realtors that like feel like it's just going to be a gravy train and then they get humbled. Like I feel
that's a part of learning. And that's the thing too, where we do, and I see that too. I work with the guys who they come in and they've had what would be relatively an easier ride. You know, that guys who, when I got my first job, these guys hadn't even started flying. And when I got my job at my current employer, that's when they started flying and they're already at my current employer.
Right.
And you're like, that's incredible. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't hold it against you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But there are times when someone will say like, oh man, they'll complain about something. And in the back of your head, you're like,
you have no idea.
Dude. Right.
Yeah.
But you know that you can have that conversation with them and be like, just so you know, right. It was like this before, or it will be like this again. And just, I think it's on us as professionals in an industry. And that's what, and I've said this to my colleagues all the time and my friends, that I firmly believe that in our industry, we need to call that out.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, whatever industry you're in, and it's always going to be cyclical. It's always going to have its ups and downs.
For sure.
And when the things are up, when you think things are up and someone comes along and goes, you know, they make a mountain out of a molehill, you go, dude, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm never going to downplay someone's experience and the hardships that they may face or they may perceive they're facing. But at the same time, like, let's compare it to someone else's hardship as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a fine balance. And I think it can be even more difficult, or I'd imagine it's more difficult in such an unregulated group, not industry like you have, that it is regulated, but in a group sense, it's unregulated in the sense that anyone can post anything.
Yep. And
it's out there, right? Like with flying, there's a lot of stuff with, you don't post a lot of things. You don't take pictures when you're flying, and you don't, there's, you know, it's a lot of, when I'm wearing the uniform, I'm doing the company's thing. These are the protocols.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm representing my employer. Mm-hmm. Whereas with I think a lot of other businesses or people that are representing themselves as their business, that's where it gets them, is that you just post whatever, and it's on us to kind of tell them that that's not right.
Yeah, it's not all the glamour, and like
Yeah.
most of social media is a highlight reel.
It is. It's all a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish, I was just thinking about this the other day, that I think I'm going to create Instagram 2.0 where it's going to be photography. That was Instagram. It was photography. And
Yes.
I love photography.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, it was something that always interested me. Right. And it's not that anymore.
No.
It hasn't been for a while. Right. And I'm like, everything on social media is a highlight reel of where you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's you in your fanciest clothes at the nicest restaurant or at the nicest destination or whatever it is. But it's not the work you were doing at midnight. I spent nights studying for exams that, I'm like, do I regret it? No. Do I want someone to have sympathy? No. But that was what it took.
Yeah, it's a part of the journey.
That was part of the journey.
It's like Jeff Bezos, when you show him in his mom's garage.
Yeah.
When he started Amazon, which was just a book company.
Microsoft, same thing.
Yeah.
In a garage.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't want to look at. It's not sexy to look at.
It's not
but that
sexy
is
at all.
The journey was the best part.
Yeah. Yeah, we never know. And it's like just talking about life in general. It's like we never know when we're in like the good old days.
Yeah.
We could be in them right now.
And you know what, man?
You
And
never
that's
know.
one thing that I love, that I love sports. I love football. My favorite football team, we say that they're in the good days. Like, let's recognize they've had incredible success in the last 10 years. We're in the good days.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back at 2015 when I went to Philadelphia to watch an Eagles game, or 2016, and it wasn't the good days.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I hope this team wins. And you're like, this team's not going to win.
Yeah, they're
right?
not.
And people ask me, and I remember like, I'll wear Philadelphia Eagles gear all the time. And people go, oh, a bandwagon. They always assume. I had
of course.
I had a Patriots fan assume, oh, they won the Super Bowl, so you're a fan. I'm like, no, man, like, I remember the Chip Kelly days, and I'm like going back to the days of like bad Eagles football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. I was there for that journey. That's what makes this so sweet.
That's what makes it so much better though. Like you got to go through the hardships.
Yeah. I recognize the days when you're like, I hope we do well.
Yeah.
Knowing fully well you're not going to do well.
Yeah. Cause like, even though you talk about, your 6-week program pretty positively, like I'm sure in the back of your mind, you're kind of thinking like, I could be back home hanging out with
you're
friends.
16 away from all your friends.
Exactly.
It's summer.
Yeah.
And I did that 16 and 17, then came back in end of August. September is grade 12. I do grade 12. And then I moved right away.
Yeah.
20 years old, I had my first flying job, right? And then you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, you're like, you don't have time to think about, hanging out with my friends or hanging out with my girlfriend, who now is my wife, right? Things like that. Because you're so focused on, well, I got to make this work to make all that work.
Yeah. I think people really need to realize that there's massive sacrifices along the way.
Yeah.
And then once we kind of make it, we're like, oh, I wish I had those things.
Sacrifice is good.
Sacrifice is amazing.
I was just watching this, and it kind of relates, but it's a Stephen Colbert quote about, pain and suffering and how that's a good thing.
It is.
And we need to accept that good is good, but bad is also good. Like you can't feel the high if you haven't felt the low.
Absolutely. Oh man. Yeah, that's powerful.
And that's what we need to realize.
Yeah.
Is it's okay to be down and feeling like a failure, because you don't know when you've achieved if you don't know when you failed. Right. And just knowing that working through the process and getting to the bottom of where you feel like, I remember my first job, even going to college, 18 years old, my parents drove me to Calgary, and, they gave me a hug and off they go. So I'm 18, I'm an adult, but I'm by myself in a city I've never been in before. And they gave me a phone number of a family friend that lives on the other side of the city. And they're like, reach out to them if you need anything. They're good people.
Yeah.
And then first day of college, and you're like, I don't know any of these people here.
So weird.
And I remember, dude, and this is, I can admit it. I don't care. I like broke down going to get groceries.
Yeah.
Because I got in my car and I went, where's the nearest grocery store? Like, where do I go?
You know nothing.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, I'm on my own, dude. Like, it really is like, the parents, the parent birds, they've kicked me out of the nest,
Yeah.
and I'm flapping my wings and I hope it works.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't kick me out of the nest. I chose this nest, or I chose to leap. I went, you know what, it could be nice. I could be at home, but I'm going to go try this thing across the Rockies. But that was on me. I tried it, but knowing that, okay, that was tough. And I always look back at, anytime I look back at anything good, like, I don't know. I think I'm superstitious in the sense I don't look at the good times because I don't want them to end in a weird way where I'm like, people are like, oh man, like you've said this, you've complimented me. I hate compliments. It weirds me out.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And I'm just
like, dude, I am so proud of you. Like, you've come so far in your journey from like helping you get into your first condo to where you're at today. And like, I know you've had the ups and downs and everything in between. So like, you should be proud of yourself.
I should.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I always
I'm like, I should,
downplay
and
my success.
I am, and I'm like, and I look at it, but then I look at like the moments, the darkest, like the deepest, being in a big city by myself, my first job, and being like, okay, I gotta make this work. Like, there's no alternative.
Yeah.
And coming back after a 16-hour workday, and like there's pots and pans in the sink, and you're like, well, that's me, bro. Like, I gotta clean this.
Yeah.
I gotta do laundry, and then I gotta be up at 6 a.m. again.
Yeah.
Or 5 a.m. to get there for 6, and that is, I think that's the beauty of the journey. And I think that's what we need to document more.
But I think that's the thing I appreciate about you the most. Like, you've gone through these times and it's formed you and shaped you through these hardships. And you have such a beautiful light about you. Like, I have to be honest, like you're a very positive spirit. I love talking to you anytime. Like, you're probably one of the people I send a lot of like random DMs to. You're like, what is this realtor? You like, we're done the transaction. He keeps messaging me. Like, why is he sending me these videos and stuff? So I love talking to you, man. Like, you're such a good spirit. You always have a positive twist to things, like no matter what the situation is. And I can kind of see where that's come from at this point now.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's like I was saying earlier, if it's a rainy day, bring an umbrella.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. It's as easy as that, and there are things we can't control. And, there's things I wish were different with,
of course,
in the world and how I'm living and what I've done in the past. But like, I mean, what can you do in the now to make that work?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I remember the unit number that we first met.
Oh, do you?
A207 4811 53rd Street.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah. That's the one, man.
And Ladner Point.
Ladner Point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should wrap this up. 2 hours and 28 minutes.
That's a lot.
Dude, like I literally threw down a ton of notes in here, and clearly we didn't need any of this. This was so much fun. I think this is one of my most favorite podcasts, dude.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thanks
Finally.
for having me.
My pleasure.
Awesome.
I don't know if you have anything to promote. If you want to talk to the camera, I don't know if you want to tell people your Instagram handle. I love your Instagram though. You have some really good photos on there of places that you've gone to.
I do. It's a weird handle though. It's just look up SSHAR03. I think. I think I used like my college email. That's when I was on Instagram. That was Instagram to me. It was my college email. I just used that. I was like, boom.
That's smart. That's
stupid
streamlined.
pictures. That's just me.
Beautiful.
But I don't know. Nothing to promote. Be nice. Be good to each other. You all matter.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And try to like find a light to things.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to focus on the bad if we can find some sort of positive twist. So we always can. And bring humor.
Bring humor, man.
Yeah.
And I say that to everyone. I was class clown growing up. I was voted class clown in the yearbooks. I took pride in that.
Yeah.
You might be the funniest or you might be the smartest, but if you can't make people laugh, man, like
laughing is the best medicine. Being able to laugh at yourself. I was with some friends last night and we were hanging out, and I was at the gym this morning and I said something so stupid, and I was able to just laugh at myself when the girl called me out, and I'm like, that is the best gift. Being able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And just not take life too seriously is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems challenging, but laugh at yourself. Be kind.
It's real good.
That's it.
Appreciate you, dude. Thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate you.